Guys, I made a mistake. Um, I said in the track testers server that it would be really funny if I recorded a video of myself filling out the track rating form that we do twice a year that is really long and is supposed to take like an hour to fill out while commentating over it, which will make it take like 4 hours or longer. And then three people told me to do it, and I felt peer pressured. So I'm gonna do that now. I will give my opinions on each track here to the best of my ability. Let me fill out the beginning of this form while I'm here, because this is a pretty quick part. Country Boston. Technically, yeah, I'm a track author. I'm just gonna be giving my thoughts on all the. Oh, it's on the next page. I'm gonna be giving my thoughts on as many of the tracks as I think I have good opinions for. I might skip over a couple because there's like fucking 8,000 of them, and that's a lot. So like we'll see how many of like look at how many there are, right? I'm just gonna give my general. What the fuck? What is that? Go away. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I hit to get that to show up on my screen. Okay, I'm just gonna go through my thoughts on all these. I'm very scatterbrained. I have ADHD, so I might like pause or say a lot. This is like not scripted, so like my bad. Um, just gonna go through and give my thoughts and what I'm voting and why I'm voting it. Starting with Abandoned Boardwalk, I'm voting indifferent, and there is a reason for that. I think I was on council by the time that Abandoned Boardwalk got added, which is like years ago now. I think this track is good. I guess the recurring overall. Sorry, I'm trying to grab this like scroll thing in the corner, but it keeps like doing this instead. I think the general sentiment that I have of the current state of CTGP is that we actually are kind of running out of bad tracks. I know a lot of people for a long time have been saying that we're running out of bad tracks, but I haven't really felt like it's true until recently. Um, I think most of the tracks in the pack are good, and so at this point, it's kind of just a question of, I don't know, sorting through whatever tracks are the best of the best. I think Abandoned Boardwalk is very solid. I think that the theme is interesting, but I don't think that the gameplay on the track is really anything special. It kind of plays the same as a lot of Shadow's other original tracks, which we have another one of right here. But I think something like Abyssal Ruins, for example, is a lot more memorable and has more. I don't know. It's like an X Factor thing that I can't really put my name on. I think Abyssal Ruins has more interesting points of gameplay with like the U-turn here with the mushroom on it, and then you trick onto the statue of the Arceus right here, and then the cave exit has that really cool shortcut at the end. There's that shortcut at the beginning that I really liked, but they like kind of got rid of it. I hope we can bring that back one day. But I think Abyssal Ruins has a lot of interesting and unique gameplay, whereas something like Abandoned Boardwalk, I feel like kind of it's like uniform width road, and you're on the boardwalk for the whole thing, and you're kind of just driving. There's not really much else that you're doing. There's like one pretty long. I try to say large and long at the same time. One pretty big like leap into a pond, I guess, near the end, and that's kind of it. And I guess the thwomp cut at the beginning is like something at least. But beyond that, it's kind of just grass circuit and road circuit. So I don't know. I think we have better ultimately than Abandoned Boardwalk in the pack, but I do not think Abandoned Boardwalk is a bad track. I think it is very well made. It's just that we're getting to the point where we have to separate like good from great. And I think Abyssal Ruins in template at least is pretty great. Like a proper remake of this track to bring it up to standards like modern visuals. Abyssal Ruins would be fantastic. I'd be interested in seeing something like that. Alpine Peak has pretty low play count from what I remember. I can check this actually. Pop Alpine in the Discord chat that I see on my side. Oh, no, never mind. It's 60-second. Oh, I'm trolling. Oh, it's fine then. I like this. I was going to say I like this track. If we're going to have low popularity tracks, then this is one of the better ones for it to be, but apparently it's not even low popularity, and I'm just smoking dick or whatever. So that's cool. I'm glad that track is doing well. I like Alpine Peak. Could maybe use a visual touch up like in the next like 4 years or so. It's like getting there to where it's kind of just snow circuit right now. But I like the gameplay. The wall trick is cool once you figure it out. Not like too hard. I'm like not good at this game and I can do it fine-ish. Um, so I'm fine with this one staying. Alpine Skyway, this is an old X-Blue track that got remade by Luca a few years ago. I think it's fine to stay for now. But I will say, I think you could do more with it. The twister does seem kind of like, I don't know, I think you could make it grander, if that makes sense. There's definitely room to cook for Alpine Skyway, but Alpine Skyway as a base layout is pretty good. And I'm happy to have it. I'm probably, by the way, going to be voting keep on most tracks, because I like tracks. I don't hate many custom tracks. Area 64 is so good. I like the track. Amanita is hard to know what to do with. I feel like I vote differently on this track every time I fill this format. I'm going indifferent this time. The visuals on this track are fantastic. I love Odyssey. The Odyssey Wooded Kingdom theme is really well done here by Squire. And the cave visuals are like beautiful with the I don't know what you call them, like ribbons, I guess, of light on the side, the aurora thing. People have often, especially in competitive circles, raised gameplay issues about Amanita, mostly with respect to like there are multiple shortcuts on the track that separate the people who do and don't take the shortcut for like 10 seconds or longer. And the main one is like 20 seconds, like half the lap. You literally just like can't interact with the other racers for half the lap. And that doesn't lead to great gameplay, but I don't think it's like the end of the world terrible, you know what I mean? But it's definitely shown itself in like reception in terms of like people don't really want to be on their own. People go online to play online against other people, not to play time trials. And they kind of get put in time trial world for a while, and that's like not super great. I'm not really sure what you do about this kind of thing if you were to try to update Amanita to like remedy that. I don't think you really can with this layout. I like the track personally, but I do understand that like if we get down, I don't think this needs to be removed soon or anything, but like, you know, years from now, when we're looking at tracks left and like all the tracks end up looking this good, if that ever happens, then we're probably going to be looking at tracks with like points of gameplay that people consider a little less than ideal, and I think that's probably one of them, unfortunately. That's just what I have to say about it. I know Amanita is like a touchy subject for some people, so I won't go too long about it, but that's just how I feel about the track. Area 64, we just added this. This track is great. People have complained, like, when we were adding this, that this is kind of a nothing circuit. I almost see what people are saying in the sense that there's, like, nothing crazy gameplay-wise. You do go on the UFO, which is, like, unique and cool. But other than that, it's mostly just grass, and there's that really long spiral, which is kind of silly. But I think it's fine. I think this track's good. And the theming is fantastic, especially. Like, this is a perfectly themed track. So, like, I think this kind of track is fine to have. I think there's no issue with having non-retros that are, like, simpler in layout. I think that's fine. Aqua Dungeon. Aqua Dungeon. What do I have to say about Aqua Dungeon? I don't know. Okay, so my thoughts on Aqua Dungeon. First of all, this track dropped. It was extremely running heavy. It got banned in competitive play, I think. We made an update that like kind of remedied this, but didn't like fully fix it. It's fine. I don't mind the gameplay at all. I think the gameplay is fine. I have never been a fan of this track visually. I thought it was kind of like, I think that this kind of theming of a track can do way more in the visual department than it did here. But I don't think it looks terrible, and like it has strong reception otherwise. Like it wasn't poorly received, at least visually speaking, on drop. So like it's fine, I think we can keep Aqua Dungeon for a while. Again, I would like to see a visual update on this if such a thing is tenable, I guess. But at least in terms of that, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it right now. Gameplay speaking, I think it's fine. The shroomless at the end is a little silly, but it works. So like, no real complaints there. I think the track is fine, but I think it could be improved a lot. Aquadrom. I've never been an Aquadron fan. I think this version of the track is the best it's gonna get. I still think the visuals aren't crazy good, but like it's fine for now. I think for the current wave, I say we can keep this. I think Aquadrom's finally in a position where it's like able to be played. You know what I mean? The shortcut's cool. I like the cut. Oh, I like this cut a lot better than the last version's cut. The last version's cut sucked, so I'm glad that they reverted this back to I think what it was before that. Um, it plays fine. It looks like passable. I think it stays for now. I think it stays. Aura Metropolis. I would like to see a remake of this track where you can see where it's going. I've played this on too many monitors where the track is just like I can't see it. And I've heard so many people say the same thing. I don't know if this will ever get that kind of update. So like I don't know what to do about it because of that. I think about Aura Metropolis and I'm like, this has such good remake potential. Spike has showed me before what he was trying to make the track look like, which was some I think it was like a Trackmania custom track from like way back in the day. It has room to cook and it is cookable, but I don't think it will be cooked, if that makes sense. I think this just needs a lot more than it's gonna get for it to get to the point where I would be fine with it. I also think this downhill is a little troll for new players. It kind of always has been. Nowadays, there are so few newer players that people aren't really complaining about it anymore. Like, everyone knows it's there. On top of all of that, this track's just not really being played a lot. I think, if I do pop or, okay, 164th out of 218 is, like, not the bottom of the pack, but it's not great. So I think my logic is, like, if we're going to keep these really old tracks, I think it would be better to take the ones that are the most memorable and have the, like, most interesting gameplay. Stuff like, we did a poll for this a while ago, and people were saying, people were saying stuff like Seaside Resort, Caladay Desert, maybe Headlong, I don't know. Stuff like that, I think, is better to keep in the pack than something like Aura. So I think for now, I'm going to say that I would remove it if I could. But I don't hate Aura. Again, I think this track's fine. Especially if it got an update to like reach the visual standards that I think this theme could get to in theory, then I think it would be really cool. Like this reminds me of what's it called? It's like Alta Pioco or something, that new Strobans track. The fourth one in the Chrono Cup. That is kind of what I imagine for this track. If it was getting a visual remake, it could go in that kind of direction for the visuals. And Alta Pioco's visuals are stunning, phenomenal. So, like, it's doable. It's just a matter of, like, is this layout good enough to do it on? And I think we have better layouts in the pack. Autumn Leaves Way, keep it. I think this layout's fine, and it's pretty, like, iconic, memorable, the gap cut and all that. But this really needs a debugging and a visual remake, because right now it is just brown dirt and grass and orange tree circuit. Like, there's no theme here. Like, I think this looks worse than Maple Treeway, and we're at a point, especially with tracks like these, where we can definitely get tracks looking at least, like, on par with the reg track. You know what I'm saying? There's so much more room to cook for this kind of theme. This is kind of, like, approaching a decade old, these visuals, right? I think this was 2016. Maybe. It might be, like, 2017. I'm not sure. This could cook harder. We need a visual update of this at some point. But, however, I will put as an asterisk all the tracks that I'm saying need a visual update. Everyone keeps telling me that my standards for visuals are too high. Everyone keeps telling me this. I don't know if it's true or not, but I'm sticking to my guts. I think this, it doesn't look bad, it just could look better. And I would like for it to look better. Because I think the layout of this track is solid, and I think that the track itself is memorable, and I think because of that, I think this is a fine track to keep. At least for the time being. I think this layout is, like, doesn't really have too many. Like, yeah, the gap cut's kind of crazy strong, and there's definitely some bugs in, like, this section going into this section on the mini-map. But I think this track's fine. I don't know. Finally, we're out of the A's. That took me 15 minutes to get out of the A's. This video is gonna be fucking rough, dude. Oh lord, I have so much more to go. Oh, I'm gonna be here for 8 hours. Whatever, man. We keep going. Banished Keep. I don't have much to say about Banished Keep. I don't think I would make a change on this track. I think this track is fine as is. Incredible. I can't believe this was his first track. I remember when this track dropped, I was in VC with a few people, and I just looked on the wiki and I was like, whoa, what is Banished Keep? Whoa, this looks kind of crazy, actually. And then we all played it, and we were like, oh yeah, this is just the best custom track ever, apparently. This track is so... I can't believe you can fucking just rip out tracks like this. That's crazy. Big Express. I like Big Express City. I know a lot of people nowadays are kind of like, this track is really long. It has a lot of problems. I agree it has a lot of problems, but I think that those problems are ultimately fixable, and I would like to see them fixed if possible. So, like, there's this section over here that's really hard to just navigate because it's really, really narrow. And there's also, like, a small only cut that you can take while large, which kind of... I don't know. I've heard that it's kind of troll in time trials. We did make it a shortcut category, but, like, I don't know. And then there's this section where there's like a train that can block your path, and then you have to go to the side path, and it's like a little blind to react to it depending on how you're coming in. I think that a couple of the sections could be cleaned up, and a couple of the sections, like the section after that, once you get here, has like really not much going on. But overall, I don't think this track is bad at all. I think this track is solid. I don't mind it at all, and I think it probably should stay. I think this is one of the more interesting tracks in the pack, if that makes sense. So I would like to see it stay. In terms of visuals, I don't really know where you could... I think the visual work on the track, at least background detail-wise, is pretty solidly done. So I don't think there's too much room for visual improvement just off of that. Like, maybe you could, like, clean up the textures a little bit, but, like, I don't know. I think the track's fine. I don't know why we made it nighttime. I've heard people say that it's like hard to see now, which kind of sucks. But I'm fine with Big Express City staying. I think this track's good. Big Nature City, on the other hand, I don't think it's a bad track, but I think we have much better. This track looks kind of dated at this point. This is, I think, a decade old. No, not yet. It's getting there though. You know what I mean? Like, this is... How do I put it? This track could use a massive, like, visual theming overhaul. I feel like this track just isn't really memorable like that. There's a couple of problems with the layout that I think could maybe be addressed. I mean, this split path here is, like, useless. Troy has gotten lost on this turn multiple times, which is really funny every time it happens. I don't know how that keeps happening because there's so many big errors in that section. But it's one of those things where, like, the track isn't, like... The track doesn't do anything super outstanding to me. Low-key, I think the old version of this track with, like, the crazy side path over here, I think that version was better. We should bring that back. Because that was at least, like, memorable. But I don't know about, like, this version of it. I'm just not sold on it. I'm kind of, like, between indifferent and remove. I don't know how other people feel about this, though. I think this is kind of one of the tracks that I've never really cared about. So I think it's probably better for, like, other people to weigh in on this track, and we kind of deal with it from there. If it was my pack, I'd remove it. But if it's my pack, I might just bring back the old version, though. I don't know, man. Big Nature City's always been weird to me. This does have a VTuber Easter egg, which is very funny and does give it points in my head. But they removed the Easter egg of the Splatoon cat in the one area, so they get points off for that one when the update was made. I think that part of the map just got, like, there was something there. I don't know. Sorry, I'm gonna need to take a few water breaks in this recording, so give me a second here. Oh, my throat's gonna be fucked after this. Oh my god. Moai Mountain can stay. This is new. I like this track. Blissful, same thing. Well, Blissful's not as new, but, like, I have nothing to say about Moai Mountain. Blissful, the split paths can be confusing, I guess. to some people. Like, I've heard people say that, like, yeah, this track is just, like, impossible to follow and nowhere to go if you're new, which is fair, but I don't think you can really do a lot about that. And I think having a few of this kind of track is fine. Like, Six King Labyrinth is one thing, because that track is actually just impossible, but this is not, like, Six King Labyrinth. This is, like, pretty well made. You know what I'm saying? It's the Six King Labyrinth if it was good. And it is. So I think it's fine to keep it. I have no issues with this track. And it's getting an update to make it a little less, some of the obstacles were, like, intrusive or causing, like, pace lock problems or something. We're getting a hotfix update for that, which is pretty good. Bluster! I like Bluster. That shortcut where you go up the fucking thing and you turn around midair, that shortcut's so cool. It's, like, over, like, here somewhere. I think it's, like, up here. I love that shortcut so much. That shortcut's awesome. Yeah, I think this track is well made. The wind mechanic definitely threw people off at first, but I think as people are getting more used to it, I think this track is kind of taking better form as, like, he cooked with this. This is cookage. Yeah, I don't have much to say about Bluster. I think the track is fantastic. Bush Escape Park. I almost just, like, did not say that correctly. Yeah, I have no issues with this track. It's getting kind of old. I think this entered the pack, like, a little before I was on console, so it's definitely, like, 6-7 years at this point going on. Old. Visual update could be good for this track, but beyond that, I don't think there's any issues. It's popular. It's very good, very cool theming for, like, a short kind of track. The layout itself is fine. I think you just cook a little with the visuals now, with, like, a massive visual overhaul without changing the gameplay too much. Maybe get this outside fucking thing in use, because I have never seen anyone go up here. Oh, and then you're good. Like, this track is just great. I really don't have much to say about it. Luke Chandler cooked hard, and he's really good. BJCC, I love this track. I love both of these tracks, actually, the two Bowser Jr. tracks. Great. Just fantastic. I don't know. I have no proposed changes for either of these, really. I think they're both fine as is. Bowser Jr.'s Fort, especially, being such a good remake of an old, like, classic track, I think Bowser Jr.'s Fort will be in CTGP forever. Like, I think it should be. Because this is just so fucking good, dude. I love this track so much. Crafty Castle, same thing. I love this track so much. It has so much, like, charm. You know what I mean? I love that track. First retro, 3DS BC. I will be honest in saying that I liked the old version a little better. I think it just drove a little bit cleaner and had a little bit more character. The only thing I would change about the old version is that I think that the fire pillars here are much better than the cactus fire pillars in the old one. Those ones sucked. But yeah, I think that this track is pretty good, like, as a base layout. Oh yeah, how am I voting on retros? I guess I'll vote on if the retro layout itself should stay or not, regardless of the version, if that makes sense. So, like, well, no, that doesn't make sense. No, I'll vote on it as its own track. So, like, I'm gonna vote indifferent on this because I really don't care about this track a lot. But if this was reverted back to the old version, I guess I can make note of that. I'll open a notepad on the side monitor here real quick and just, like, 3DS BC revert to old version. And I'll just put that in the notes section at the end for my own keeping notes of things. Yeah, I don't think this version is bad. I just think the old one was a little cleaner. Which I value. And that's all. BTS is so good. I love this track. Keep it. Keep it! I have nothing to say there. Camp Cardigan. Camp Cardigan. This is, to my understanding, one of the less played tracks in the pack. It's at 176 right now. Exactly 100 plays online in the last 3 months, which is not many. This track is good. It's Fluffy's first track. Very solid, very well made, but it doesn't do a lot. The theming is kind of just like New England, and I live in New England, so I see this all the time, so this isn't anything real interesting to me, you know what I mean? The layout doesn't do anything crazy. It's kind of just driving forward. There's this one section that has cars on it, but you're like barely there for very long if you even take that path. And this massive split for half of the lap is not great either. Kind of the same thing I mentioned with Amanita earlier. I don't want to vote remove on it though. Like, would I remove it though? I guess like if I'm listing out my favorite 200 tracks, Camp Cardigan's like on the border because I think that some of Fluffy's other tracks are like this was his first track. This was just kind of getting something out there and making sure like he knew how to make tracks. You know what I mean? Um, I think there are better layouts that exist. I don't think I would remove this yet though, but I think like in a year's time, tracks like this are probably going to be like because if you're going to have a simpler track, sorry, if you're going to have a simpler track layout wise, it should at least be like interesting in theme and gameplay. Like look at Moai Mountain for example. This track is very short. The layout is very simple. You can't see the mini map here, but like, um, it's a very simple track, but it also has like an interesting theme, like on an island with the palm trees. Focus point on like the Moai statues, and there's Moai statue thwomps that go down or go to side, and there's a couple of interesting shortcuts. Camp Cardigan doesn't really have anything like that. It's kind of just there's grass, there's some cars, and there's trees, and that's it. So I don't know. I think this will go at some point, but not yet. I think this can stay definitely for a while. Candy Coaster. I used to hate Candy Coaster. I've come around to it now. This is definitely the kind of track where like you need to be good-ish at it to do like that. The cut over here, the corner cut. Um, it's not a make or break kind of thing, but like taking this section without doing that just kind of isn't fun. I think if you could clean up the regular route for casual players without removing the shortcut part, I think that would go a long way for Candy Coaster. And aside from that, I think I've just looked at these textures for too long. I think they remind me of old, and I don't like that. I think the textures could use some working to be a little better. But aside from that, I think the layout of Candy Coaster is strong. Definitely one of the older tracks with like stronger, more memorable layout. You know what I mean? Like Candy Coaster has definitely stood the test of time, at least in gameplay. So has Canyon Run, by the way. Um, Canyon Run has like it's not clean. I definitely personally would like to see a full ground up remake, like everything remade on Canyon Run, because I think that the KCL, the collision on this track is like way too bumpy. I don't think that the sticky road spam that we added that update like really fixed it. I think it made it a little better, but like it didn't really fix it, you know what I mean? Um but it's not like the layout is good. The layout is solid and it's memorable, and it's also a speed mod track, which is hype. Like we barely have any of those. So I love Canyon Run. This is not leaving the pack over my dead fucking body. But it definitely needs some cookage. I would like to see a remake of this track, like straight up the whole thing. If that is possible someday, that would be nice. Castle in the Sky, my probably second favorite track ever, maybe third. Spoiler alert, one of the other top three is Cruel Angel, which is like right here. I'm a weeb, so like these get plus points in my brain, right? Because they're both based on like anime. But the layouts on both of these tracks are also just like incredibly phenomenal. I love these tracks. Nothing bad to say about them. I wouldn't. The only thing I will note is that Castle in the Sky, the mini map's kind of not usable. If we can ever figure out a way to change the fucking mini map and like where it's pointing mid race, because you get cannoned like 100,000 units in another direction, that would be really good for this track. That's the only change I would make, is that the game doesn't really work with it right now. Blue shells also, you throw them before cannon and they will actually just take 50 seconds to reach first place, and it's like really like they finish by then almost. But the cannon, the shot out of the cannon, like the visual shot is worth it, so whatever. Maybe like a I don't know. You could cook here at some point, but we'll figure this out. That's for future us to figure out. I'm gonna real quick get more water. Okay, water acquired. I'm all good. Hopefully my voice. I want everyone watching this to like, after you watch this fucking video, just compare my voice at the end of the video to my voice at the beginning of the video, and we'll see how fucked my throat became. Cause I want to know. I think my throat's gonna be like unusable at the end of this. That's really funny. Castle of Darkness, Castle of Time. Keep both of them. Layout phenomenal on both. Two of the best playing tracks in the pack, just like driving wise. What I will say, and I know a lot of people complain every time I say this, but it's true. Both of these tracks don't look good. They look fine. They look passable. But like, if anybody was in the track tester server and saw that Fafina remake of Castle in the Sky. Sorry, Castle of Time, not Castle in the Sky. Sorry. If anyone saw the Fafina update of this track, you know this track has so much more potential to be pushed. You could do incredible things with these tracks, like just visually. They're just not there yet, you know what I mean? They're not at their peak. Someday, hopefully they will be. Someday, hopefully some author will, like, cook hard. But for now, yeah, but again, they're like two of the best playing tracks in the pack. So these will never leave. They shouldn't leave. I'm just saying, like, we need visual updates on these at some point before the end of the decade, I guess. Would be appreciated, because if these tracks with this good gameplay and like properly fire ass visuals would just be top 10 tracks like ever. They just would be. And that's what I'm saying. I want to push the potential of tracks like this to as high as they can go. So we'll see about that. Celestial Ruins. Sorry, Celestial Ruins heads. I don't want this. The old version was interesting, at least. I would like the old version to maybe be brought back, but I don't think that the old version was particularly great either. But it was better than this. The new version, it's not bad, but nothing's happening. Again, same road width the entire time. There is exactly one shortcut right here. Nothing else happens at all. I don't think there's even obstacles. There might be a few thwomps, but like they're never. Yeah, I think I see them right here, but they're never in the way. Nothing happens on it. This is like the nothing ever happens track. And I think as a result of that, what's the pop right now? 212. It's bottom 5. Nope, bottom 7. The 7th lowest played track in the pack. Nobody's picking this. No one's playing it. Yeah, I'd get rid of this. In terms of like getting rid of the track entirely versus bringing back the old version, I don't know. I think the old version had a couple of problems, which was why it kind of got remade. I can't think of anything really interesting gameplay-wise on the old version either. There was like one ramp where if you didn't know how to take it, you got killed. And better players liked it because they would gain time. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'd need to go back and play it again, like the old version properly. I know someone was making like a remake of it, like a visual remake, but I don't know. I've never been a Celestial Ruins fan. I think Out of Shadow's original tracks, I think Abyssal Ruins and I think Cherry Blossom Garden right here are the cream of the crop. Both of those tracks are fantastic, and I wouldn't do too much to change either of them. Like, yeah, this still has, Shadow has a lot of tracks that have the same road width issue. It doesn't change. But Cherry Blossom Gardens at least does a good job of, like, dividing the track into interesting points of gameplay. And I think does a good job of it. Again, could use a visual update for sure. Preferably soon. But in terms of gameplay, this track is pretty solid. And I'll keep Cherry Blossom. But I just don't think Celestial really has the sauce, you know what I mean? There's nothing really going on here. Christmas Core is hard to know what to do with. I would like visuals pushed on this too. I think the gameplay is fine. I think people like it for its gameplay, so keep it. But like, I don't know. Cliffside Core, the original version, was literally like rejected because the visuals just weren't there. Because it's kind of hard to like I guess Luke Chandler didn't really know what to do for visuals here. So then he made like a Christmas theme for it. Um, it's not even really Christmas themed though. It's more so just ice themed. There's like one spot near the middle where there's like a Christmas tree and some presents, and that's it, kind of. I don't know. I think you could cook harder. We'll see. But I like this track. I just wish it has better visuals. But I say that about like everything. Coin Heaven. How do I feel about Coin Heaven? There is one spot on this track over here where the contour of the turn brings you this way, like this way, but then there's a hole here that's blind and you fall off. That is silly and should be fixed. Otherwise, this track is fine. Gameplay is solid, visuals are solid, doesn't do anything special, but it's like popular. I think, again, if we're going to have simple custom track layouts like this, stuff like Coin Heaven and Area 64 are the way to go with that. Really just need to fix that one thing, and then you're good. Color Wonderland? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what to say about Color Wonderland. You could make this better for casuals by fixing the end here, and there's like a couple other spots where you can make it a little better. Like, you could fix the track, but is it worth doing? Color Wonderland's layout has never been a layout that I think is really stand out. You know what I mean? I think if we're looking at all of the tracks in CTGP history, like back in the day, like 8 years plus ago, you know what I mean? I think that there's so much better than Color Wonderland. Some of the tracks I said before, like Seaside Resort, Caladay Desert, stuff like, even like Aquania, I think as a Spy Kid track is better than this. I don't know. I've never been a fan of Color Wonderland. I'd remove it. Say what you will. I don't think it's a bad track. Again, I think there's definitely room to cook here, but I think in terms of especially Spy Kid tracks, I think there's way better. I think stuff like Candy Coaster and Aquania, as I said earlier, and like Obstagoons and Superstar, which are down later, are just better. Like Dreamworld Cloudway, I think, is a better track, and that already got removed, so I don't know. Concord Town's so hard to know what to do with. So this track has solid gameplay. It doesn't do anything crazy, but what it does well, I think, is digestibility. A casual player can open this track for the first time, and they will have no issues at all knowing exactly where to go, and exactly, like, they do one lap around the track and they understand the track, which I think is good when the track has like decent gameplay. But the visuals are so outdated. They're really old and really bad. And the issue is that the author of the track said like a decade ago that they don't want anybody to update their track. So we can't give this a visual update to make it visually up to standards. We have to rock with it as is or get rid of it. Those are like the two options. I think at least for another year it's fine, but I think at some point we're going to have to bite the bullet and go like, yeah, we need... Because again, I was just talking about simpler tracks that are fine to follow. Stuff like Area 64 is really good for that, but Concord Town doesn't really have anything like that. It kind of like, yeah, it reminds people of Delfino Square because it uses the Delfino Square textures and it has that similar like only 45-degree turns kind of thing. It's not bad, but I think like within a year from now, we're just gonna have to get rid of it at some point. You know what I mean? I just don't think Concord Town is gonna live forever, and that sucks. I wish I could give this a visual remake, because if you could give it a visual remake and maybe like slightly tweak the little bridge trick things to be a little friendlier, or maybe the exits of them more specifically, I think this would be a fantastic track, but like we can't, so I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Cosmic Grove, poor Cosmic Grove, just kind of dropped, and then I don't know. Like people do not like this track for some reason, but it's played a lot. It's like really popular. So I think it's fine to keep it for now. Um yeah, I don't I Cosmic Ruin is one of those tracks where I don't know what to really say about it. I Oh yeah, I don't know. I haven't learned the gap cuts, so I shouldn't speak on the gameplay. And visually, I think it's like fine. I've never really been too interested in this track, but a lot of people are, and I don't think this track should cater to me only. You know what I mean? Or this pack, I mean. So I don't know. That's how it is. I think it's fine for now. Well, I guess we'll revisit this if it ever gets like low in popularity. But right now, I think it's like top 40 most played tracks or so. Oh god, these voice cracks are gonna start getting worse. These are not gonna let up. Cruel Angels, I already talked about it a little bit. This is easily my favorite custom track of 2024. Probably, I think concretely in my top 3 all time. Um, yeah, I have nothing to say. This track is so fucking good. A couple of small tweaks that could be used. I know there's this one ramp where if you low trick it properly, you get like you go so low that you end up in off road because we didn't think that you could do it that low, and it was kind of too late to fix it when we found that out. If we hotfix the track ever, we will fix that. But otherwise, this track is just incredible. I have nothing to say. Crystal Dungeon. Oh, this is another hard one. The visuals on this track might be bottom 5 in the pack because the visuals were made in like 2012. Like, this is well over a decade old, I'm pretty sure. The problem is that the gameplay is not bad. For a track that's this simple, the gameplay is, like, the shortcut is interesting. And then the rest of the gameplay, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible. Having tracks like this is not bad. I don't know what to do about it, though. Let's say that this gets a visual remake and it's like really stunningly beautiful all of a sudden for whatever reason, right? What I want to know from people, like just Crystal Dungeon research, is like outside of the cut and maybe the end section, do people actually like the way this track plays like over here? Because this is, to me, it's solid, but it's not really anything. You know what I mean? I think that Crystal Dungeon might cook harder if you remade the whole layout aside from like from here to like here, maybe here, and you took everything else and you kind of just reworked it. I think that that kind of idea could be interesting to maybe put some like life into this track beyond what it is. But I'm pretty sure it's like pretty popular right now, right? Pop Crystal Dungeon. Yeah, it's like 56th right now. I just need a massive visual rework on this, and we need to visit it from there. But I think that this cut is like one of the most iconic cuts in CTGP. 100% should stay. My question is more with the rest of the layout, because the rest of the layout is hold forward and do nothing. But we'll see. I want to hear other people's opinions on this. But for now, I think we should keep this. It just really needs an update visually. Crystal Plains, keep it. There's no issues with this track. This is, I think, is not really played a lot, though. Yeah, it's 181 popularity, which is pretty low. But, like, again, if we're gonna have low popularity tracks, Crystal Plains is fine. There's no issue with this track. So I think this track, personally, I would keep this forever. Like, this kind of track shouldn't be removed because it's just so well made. You know what I mean? It's just fantastically done. The 3 CTR tracks. Cortex, keep it. Blizzard Bluff, I'm indifferent. Well, am I? Engine Labs kind of... Okay, let's go through them. Cortex needs a few small gameplay changes, and a couple people in the track tester server have already pretty much worked that out. Namely Boshi, I think, has pretty much worked out how to fix this track. So this is... Cortex Castle's cooking, and it will be cooking forever. Blizzard Bluff, the issue with it is that it's not really played a lot. And I don't know, it doesn't do anything crazy, but it's like pretty solid as a layout. Like, you play it and you understand what to do. I think for the time being, this is fine. Like, I can't think of too many better tracks than this. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to think of what else. Like, if is this in the best 218 custom tracks of all time? And I think maybe it's like close to the border. But like, I don't know. I just don't think this track does anything crazy, but it doesn't do anything bad. So it's like in the middle. But I enjoy playing this track when it's picked, so I guess I'll keep it. Engine is the hard one because this track needs some fixes to make it like... No, I thought we worked this out too, actually. I don't know. I'm going to say keep all three. I'm pretty sure there is a thing in the track testers Discord somewhere that is like a new layout for engine, which like just adds a couple of shortcuts to make it like more, because right now the track is like you get in first, you stay in first, you just can't really leave first because there's no shortcuts, there's nowhere to catch up. So if we can fix that, then that would be great. And also someday far off in the future in 2035 we will have the destined conditional out of bounds that we have always desired, and this track will like actually work, which would be nice. But until then, yeah, I think this track's fine. Like, it just needs a couple tweaks with like cuts and such, and maybe like scaling of turns. But we'll see. I don't hate it. Daisy Hillside, I'll be so honest with you, this is gonna be 100% a me thing, and it will come up many other times in this video. I love Mario Kart 7, but I think that Mario Kart 7 has the worst new tracks out of any Mario Kart game. By a long shot. These tracks are so fucking boring, dude. There's nothing here. There's nothing here. If we're gonna keep retros, which I would like to keep many of them, I would like to keep the ones that are interesting and maybe a little... Oh, but I guess the goats are kind of iconic though, aren't they? You can't get rid of the goats, can you? But like, nothing's happening here though. There's nothing going on, man. I don't know. I don't see it. I hate some of the 3DS tracks, and this is one of them. I just don't think anything... This is the least interesting track, like, ever. Like, the 10 least interesting tracks in CTGP, like, 8 of them are 3DS retros. So this is one of them. I would get rid of this. I don't think we need this. And also, by the way... Oh, shit. Oh, what the fuck was that? Is that the fucking Windows menu? Pop. Daisy Hillside 205. Nobody's playing this. This is one of the least played tracks in the pack too. I wonder why no one's playing this. Like, there's nothing here. I'm sorry. It's Nintendo's fault. It's not Atlus's fault or whoever else worked on this. Nintendo's fault. Nothing here. Move on. Like, we need better. We can make a... If someone really likes the theming of Daisy Hillside with the goats, we can make a better goat track. Like... surely this isn't the pinnacle of our... It's like a chicken nugget with a cannon on it, and the cannon doesn't even do anything. I don't know. I hate this track. Daisy's Palace. I don't mind this track. I like it. I think the visuals could have cooked a little harder. The inside of the palace especially does not really look very good, in my humble opinion. The everything else, I don't know. It works. The track works. I think it's fine. I think you could push the theme a little harder. With the like Maple Treeway kind of stuff, and because it just looks like Maple Treeway, and then you go into a building. I think that the visuals definitely could be way better. But I think gameplay wise, it's all right. There's a couple of parts that have been contested over the years. Like I know that they recently added a giant fence around this area in order to block off a like massive ending strat where you took the best shortcut on the track and then you just kept driving through off-road and you would win the race for free basically because you just get to go from here to here. So we patched that out. I don't know if anyone has any other issues with the gameplay of the track. I never liked this spire. I don't know. There's a lot of very small nitpicks that I could go into detail on. Like, if I was to make an extended version of this video where I talk about the individual sections of each track, that might be interesting. But I don't think Daisy's Palace is that bad. I think it's fine. It just needs to cook a little harder on the visuals, in my opinion. Dark Matter Fortress, baller track. I love Justin. Let's go, Justin. Yeah, I have no issues with this. This mushroom sign is a little tacky. It's a little silly, but like aside from that, perfect track. Based on a Mario Galaxy level, does a great job interpreting it. Yeah, no issues. Give me a second. I need more water. All right. Dark Matter Shrine. I don't know how to feel about Dark Matter Shrine, I'll be honest. I've never really liked this track. I think this track's in a weird position where, like, it was broken for running. I think it was banned. And then Brawlbox kind of just added 2 shortcuts that didn't really do a whole lot. And it just made the track a little weirder. I think that this track isn't terrible, but I don't... Like, if I'm thinking of Sneaky's tracks overall, I think this might be my least favorite Sneaky track, like, ever. I'd rather have his old, like, what was it, Snowflake City? I'd rather have that over this. But I don't know. That might just be bias. I just don't know how to make this track... For all the gameplay problems that it quote-unquote has... I don't know what to do about them other than just leave it be. But it seems to be like we leave it be and then everyone complains, and then we did the Brawlbox update and then everyone complained more. So it's like, I don't think you win with this track, and I've never liked it, so I would get rid of it. But I understand there's a lot of people who like this track, and I don't think it's like ugly or anything. I think it looks fine. Although I have definitely looked at this rainbow texture for too long. It's starting to feel a little old on me. But, like, I don't know, man. I think that this track is just, like, almost cooks, but it's just, like, not enough. I don't know. Also, apparently these gray things right here are, like, flip trick ramps. I don't know how many people knew that. I found this out, like, the other month. I don't know if it's this one or, like, all of them or only, like, a couple of them. But, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure you can flip trick off of this right here. I don't even think it's faster, which is funny. But, you know, fun fact. But yeah, I don't know. That's just maybe I should do like a more in-depth review on Dark Matter and the issues with it and like what I would do to maybe fix them, but I don't know. That's just how I feel. Darkness Temple, I love Darkness Temple. Keep that forever. Dawn Township. Okay. GU track. Old. I love GU. GU's my favorite author ever as like a person and as a definitely one of my best like authors as well. This was not her first track, but it was one of her earlier. I think this was her first one in CTGP. Also happens to be the first track in CTGP in the default order, so a lot of people play it a lot. I don't know. This track kind of like you just go along. I feel like nothing really happens on this track, but it's also pretty short, so it's not like a problem or anything. I don't know. I feel like, again, I would keep this for now, but I feel like in a year or two, we're going to have better layouts than this, like all over the place. And at that point, it would just be better to take those. But I think this kind of theme is interesting if you cook on it hard enough. It's a little unfortunate that we weren't able to add the update that she made because it lagged in time trials on, like, boost panels. If we had gotten that update through and fixed, that would have been great. But GU said that she doesn't want people updating her tracks either, so this is just kind of this is where it lays for now. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't think we can do much with this. So, but I think it's fine for now. So keep it for now. Delfino Island, another very old track with a layout that has like stood the test of time, at least in terms of like memorability. It's gotten a few weird updates over the years, and most recently it got a visual update from ZPL, which made the track go from looking really ugly to looking like okay. I would keep the track itself, obviously. I wouldn't say to remove Delfino. It's one of the most popular tracks in the game, and it's very memorable. But like, we need a proper visual update. This just kind of made it very generic looking, which is fine. It's better than looking ugly, which is where it was before. But like Delfino Island, where's the Mario Sunshine theming? Why have we not given this track Sunshine theming? If some author goes into this track and gives it Mario Sunshine theming, like properly, this will probably be one of the best custom tracks that's out. Like, say what you will about the gameplay, if you love it or if you don't like it. This will be one of the strongest custom tracks in the pack if it had properly made and like well done Mario Sunshine theming. But it's just not there, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't gotten it there yet, and I think we should do that. But to keep the layout. But like, goddamn, this needs a visual update. I'm gonna keep hounding these visual updates until they happen, because I really think they need them. Desert Castle Raceway. I love this layout. Incredible LGMB track. This is also getting an update for a couple of things, I think. And that update is like, I think will be coming like the next few CTGP updates that'll happen. Yeah, I don't have too many issues. I think that this track is pretty old. It's like getting on a decade at this point. So a visual update could be maybe warranted. But I don't think it really looks that ugly. I think it has character, you know what I mean? So like maybe not like super needed. But like, I don't know. I think that yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to like explain my thoughts on some of these. I would like to see a visual remake of it personally, but I don't think it's super required. And either way, the layout of the track is enough to where like, yeah, this track should stay in the pack for like a while. Desert Fort, speaking of staying in the pack, this is like never leaving the pack. This track's so good. Sorry. I don't know how he cooked this hard, but he sure did. Yeah, this track's just, it's, I don't have much to say about it. It's incredible. Give me 1 second. I have to respond to a message. Sorry, I'm going to have to take a lot of these random breaks in the middle of the video because this video is very visibly going to be like 4 or 5 hours long, so that's just how it goes. But yeah, anyways, shout out Desert Fort. Desktop Dash, we need to fix the ending. I say we keep this track because the theme is interesting. Maybe could clean up the textures a little bit, but like, we need to fix this ending. We accidentally added a dead end, and getting rid of the shroomless did not make sense. We just shouldn't have done that. I think there are definitely cookable. You can cook with this. We just need to do something and be like a little careful about it. But like, yeah, basically this track with the, like, this part is fine here. This ending needs to be reverted to the old version. Everything else can probably stay. And then this track will be good to go. But like, we need to do that. Right now it's in a really sad state. So this is voting keep based on the potential of like fixing this. You know what I mean? If this was the final version and we couldn't touch it anymore, then I would say to remove it. Because it's just not good right now. DK Ruins. Okay, this is one of the good 3DS tracks. I like this one a lot. I said what I said about the 3DS tracks, but this one is pretty fire. They have some fire in there for sure. I think this is probably like the most memorable maybe 3DS track. Like, I don't know, it's like this or Rosa Snow Roll or whatever. But like this cooked. They cooked with this. So yeah, no issues here. I think this version is fine too. I really like the wall ride. Dragon Burial. Yeah, keep it. I think like maybe far into the future this could use a visual rework. I don't think this looks particularly pretty here, but I don't think it looks bad either. So like, I don't know. This is fine for now, but definitely could use some touching up. But the gameplay here is fantastic. It's a big L, but it's a good L. It's a pretty well made track, I would say. Dragonite's Island. I would vote to remove this, and I'll try to explain my reasoning. I think that the Pokemon franchise has been getting kind of screwed on track representation over the years. There was only Dragonite Island for a while, And then we had Mystic Tangle, which is fine, but I think at the moment it is the least played track in CTGP. It's definitely up there at least. And then we got Obstagoons, which is finally, like, Obstagoons is fantastic. I love Obstagoons. But, like, in terms of, like, a more proper, like, Dragon Knight's Island should be cooler than it is. I don't know. I just think, like, there's a shortcut over here with this ramp where you go up it and to the side. I don't think it works very well. I don't think it's very intuitive. You kind of have to, like, learn where to aim, because you're not aiming at the shortcut. You're aiming, like, to the left of it somewhere to make it. I don't think that's great. And then the ending section shows up over here with the Gyarados with the terrible hitbox and the, like, dirt cut that just saves, like, 6 seconds for no reason. I don't know. I think that Pokemon could have way better custom tracks than this. And I've heard many, many people over the year have, like, pretty consistent complaints about how Dragonite's Island doesn't really work anywhere. All of the shortcuts have issues because this shortcut doesn't, you can't really get there. The shortcut at the beginning is star only, I think. This shortcut is shroomless, and then this one saves, like, the most time by far, but also you sometimes just get owned by the Wiggler, which is blind and also has a crazy hitbox. So, like, I don't know. I think you could do better. Retros! I love retros. Okay, we can bang. I can make this video a little shorter by just banging through these. I think that, especially Bowser's Castle, but also Airship Fortress, if you really look at the track and you, like, look at the details on the track, this is actually, like, sorry, Sneaky, this track is hideous looking. I don't know if anyone has ever looked at what the start line on DS Bowser Castle looks like. It doesn't look good. It looks really bad. So I think that all of these, like, a good amount of these, need visual touch-ups to not look like that. But gameplay, they are fire. These are, like, the two of the best gameplay retros on the track. So, like, I don't even need to say much about these other than, like, maybe, like, keep the DS charm to it. I'm not saying to make it fucking ray tracing or anything, but, like, the texture quality on BC especially is really poor at the moment. I would like that looked at some point. But gameplay, I would touch nothing. This is the perfect. Cheap Cheap Beach. I don't know how to feel about Cheap Cheap Beach. This track just isn't really... I don't think this track works well in Mario Kart Wii. I think that's the best way to explain it. I never really have fun playing it in Mario Kart Wii. Any version of this track that has ever existed, I have not really enjoyed playing it that much. Maybe someone who's, like, super cracked could, like, cook, like, really hard and make this interesting, but I think that's what Squire tried to do, and this track isn't bad, but I don't know, it's not my thing. I would vote indifferent on this, cause, like, I don't know, I just think there's better. I think there's way better retros than this. I think this one just doesn't have anything interesting going on. But if you made, like, I don't know, I would need to look more in depth on this too. I just don't think it's there right now. DK Pass, keep it, maybe give it some better visuals. And that one cut, the ZPL, like, made a shortcut over here, and, like, everyone liked it, and then we didn't add it. And I don't know why we didn't do that. We should get that going. But, like, aside from that, yeah, good. Luigi's Mansion, it's fine. Luigi's Mansion, I have never really liked it, but, like, this is the best it will ever get, for sure, and I don't hate it. Shout out Soul Eater, there's a anime reference Easter egg on this track because Talk made it. Yeah, no issues with Luigi's Mansion, I think. DSMC, okay. These trees gotta go, man. I keep saying this in track testers, but I'm saying it here too. I'm sorry, ZPL, and there's some... ZPL's the one who uses these trees the most, so I've been, like, referring to them in my head as ZPL trees. But I don't think he made them, and I think there's multiple other authors that also use them. But I'm just going to be so honest. They don't look good. These trees look terrible. And they alone make the track look terrible. Get these trees out of here. Make them look like something better. And then this track is fine. Until then, I think this track looks ugly. Because of the trees. I don't know how else to say it. These trees are... I need people to stop using these. Please stop using these trees. They don't look This, and this, and this, and like this doesn't. It's not there, man. I don't know. I don't like it. That's just me personally though. Gameplay wise, fine, perfect. I like this. I like that they added the trick ramp. I think that makes the track work better in Mario Kart's like physics engine. So I like the gameplay of this. It's like near perfect. DS Rainbow Road. Full honesty, I think that without the loops, this track sucks. I just don't like playing it. And I will also say, I mean no offense here, but if you make a Rainbow Road that is rainbow the entire time and there's like grass on the outside of it, I hate that. It's just a pet peeve. SNES Rainbow Road has the same thing down later. You could have done something better here for the background, I think. But like gameplay wise is my bigger concern, and like I just don't think there's anything. Well, he like it's basically a custom track. He added his own shortcut because he had to, because Rainbow Road like the spirals don't work, so he needed to do something else. But if you take away the looping, sorry, the loop-de-loops, I mean, if you take away the loop-de-loops on DS Rainbow Road, it's just like a track, and it's not a particularly good one. I don't really like it. I don't know. This is a me thing, but I don't like Rainbow Road, this one. If you give me a version with working loop-de-loops... Oh, sorry. I forgot it would do that if I circled my mouse. If you give me a version with working loop-de-loops and, like, cleaner visuals, then maybe. I don't know. Shroom Ridge. Keep the track itself, but, how do I put it? I think that this version of the track is really good, but I've been thinking about it more. I guess I would need more opinions from like more players on like how this is played in different contexts of the game, like competitively especially, because like Squire Turnbolt made his version, which I think has slightly cleaner visuals and also has that cut at the end of like after the thing. I kind of like it. Like, I know that's controversial to, like, longer time players who are used to this one and, like, are like, oh, we shouldn't be adding cuts to the end of track for no reason. I kind of like it, man. It's fun. I don't know. A lot of people have said that, like, this is not even a top 2 rendition of Shroom Ridge because there's a lot of people who like Squires and ZPLs better. I'm not sure. I need to play all of them, like, back to back to back and, like, actually look at them. I really like this version of the track. But I do think that we could cook a little harder, but I don't think we need to. So I'm going to leave the Shroom Ridge discourse up to other people because I have no issue with this version, but I do also see the merits of, like, adding the cut or whatever, or, like, cleaning up the visuals a little bit. I don't know. That's just how I am. TikTok Clock. Everybody keeps complaining and saying that TikTok Clock is, like, the worst retro visually right now in the pack. I don't fully agree. I think it being this faithful to the DS version is pretty good. What I would like to see is more, like, better object usage, because I think we can figure out these objects a little better. And I would also like to, how do I put it? You could definitely make the visuals a little cleaner, but people are saying, like, oh, let's add the Mario Kart 8 version. I don't want to add the Mario Kart 8 version. I like this version better for Mario Kart Wii's purposes. I think you just need to clean it up. I don't know. But I think that this version of the track is pretty solid. I would only really update this if you got, like, proper background visuals to make it, like, a cool custom thing. Not the Mario Kart 8 shit, like, actual custom something. And you got better object usage. We need the pendulums working, which someone's already done, by the way. Like, it's not hard. Tox version. We should add Tox version, except his version doesn't work without custom code. So, like, get as close to that as possible is what I'm saying. That's what I would do. Waluigi Pinball, latest version, perfect. No issues. I don't know if this picture is of the right version. I think it is. I'm not sure. Yeah, no issues. And Warrior Stadium, I have no issues. I never really liked Warrior Stadium, but, like, that's just a me thing. I think this version of the track is fine. So that's what I feel. Hopefully the other retro sections I can go by a little faster, because I think there's a couple other ones where I feel kind of samey on a lot of them, but we'll see. Festival Town. The theme needs to be cooked a little harder. It's pretty generic right now. Gameplay wise, I've heard good things and I've heard bad things. I actually have no idea what to think about this track. This is probably one of the tracks in the pack that I have played probably the least, just by happenstance. I don't know. I'm gonna vote. Oh, what do I vote? Fuck. I don't know, dude. This is hard. I don't hate it. I'll keep it. I don't hate this track. I really don't. I think it's fine. But no, indifferent. I think I don't know. I'll leave this up to other people, man. I think you could cook a little harder, but I don't know what people like about this track and what people don't like about this track. Because I do not like anything, and I also do not like anything. Like, this is so indifferent in my head. So I don't know. 4F, perfect. Keep it. Final Grounds. This needs a visual update that actually makes it look good. I don't know. I don't think that the grittiness of the track is very good or memorable. Maybe people look at this kind of thing and feel like nostalgic towards it. So, I don't know. Gameplay wise, don't touch anything though. It's perfect right now. But and I'll keep it obviously in the pack. But like, we need to update, bro. I'm sorry. Fishdom. Fishdom's weird. So like, the track is good. Well, how do I put it? Old track, memorable, got updated. Very good update for the track. This is the best that this track will ever get, for sure. But a lot of people are saying that this track is really boring, I guess is the word. There's just not, the layout doesn't do anything. You have the one trick onto the beach and then the track just kind of drives itself. It's like memorable in the sense that it's an older track, but I don't know. I think there are better layouts that exist. Just across the board. I like Fishdom though. Like, I wouldn't remove it, but I definitely think that like but I don't know what you would do to improve Fishdom, because for tracks like this, I want to like at least give some ideas on like what you could do. But I think Fishdom was just kind of one of those old layouts where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna make like a circle with a bend in it. There's just nothing happening. I don't know. I think like the more interesting designs, because you can make more interesting designs while still keeping it pretty simple and pretty digestible. I don't know. I just don't think this is super crazy. And I don't know, how's this doing on popularity? Oh, it's 80th actually. A lot of people are playing this. So maybe keep it for now, but I don't know. I mean, I'm indifferent to this track at the moment just because I don't think there's a lot happening on it. Flying Kingdom, visual update needed, but keep it. It's the gameplay is solid. Forest Creek. Oh, Forest Creek's so weird. Full transparency. I've been a Forest Creek hater for a while, I guess, kind of since it got added. I always thought that this track was not really interesting. The theme is just trees. The gameplay isn't really that interesting, or so I thought. But then, like, a couple people, like Boshi and I think Raptor a little bit, kind of just, like, basically Oaken came back and he made a thread and was like, hey, I want to improve this. And then through watching the thread and looking at it, I kind of learned that, like, there actually is some cookage on this track. It's, like, not terrible. So I'm, like, kind of almost coming around, but I don't think I'm coming around all the way. I don't know. How do I do this? There is an update to this track that is coming that makes it look a little better. I'm going to vote indifferent right now just because that update hasn't happened, and so I don't know how this track does. You know what I mean? If that update for the track proves to be, you know, successful in keeping interest for the track, then I think it's maybe fine to stay. But I really would like to see a better theme on this, because this theme is literally just trees and water. It's not, there's nothing really happening here. I don't know. We'll see. My thoughts, I've never really been a Forest Creek fan, but I don't think it's bad. I'm definitely starting to see the light on it. There's definitely some interesting strats you can do on it. It just needs to be a little cleaner, I think, is the best way to put it. Fort Francis, keep it. This track is popped off super hard. I think it's like behind Mushroom Peaks, the most played track right now, which is super good. The track is solid, well made. No issues. There's a couple of bugs to fix, but like beyond that, perfect. Frantic Fun Yard. Keep this too. I think you could make a few. So like the ending of this track is pretty bad for casuals at the moment. There are RC car routes that kind of cut off. Like, imagine you're playing Moonview Highway, right? And there's a car that you need to dodge, and then you go on the inside of the road to dodge the car. The car routes on this track go like inside the inside route. So if you try to pass the RC car at the end to the right side, which is like the quote unquote correct thing to do, the RC car might turn and just like hit you, and that sucks. So I think you need to cook that a little better, and then also the ramp into the last section on the upper layer just rams you into a wall like straight up. You fix those two things, and I think this track is like fine. This track cooks. I think this track's pretty good. So definitely keep it. This is very solid. I can't believe we almost voted like no on this track. I think that's crazy to me because this track is clearly really well made. The theming is super unique and super well done. But there's like a couple minor things that I think you could improve if you wanted to. That's how I feel about that. Fungal. Keep it. I'd like Fungal. This track needs a debumping, I guess. You can get a lot of like weird wheelie sticks and like stuff like that. But outside of that, this is solid. It's again one of those tracks that's very simple, but it does its job well. Some people do complain that like the track kind of is the same everywhere in terms of like visuals. There's no real standout like landmarks on the track, which is true. Maybe that could be made a little better. But like I think that this track is a solid track and I like it. The end cut's kind of troll. The one, not this one, the one where you like hop over the thing. I don't know what to say about that one, but like I don't know. Fungal Jungle as a whole, I like it a lot. So I'd say keep it for now. All right, more water. Give me a second. Cool. I just realized that I probably don't need to announce every time I take a pause in the video. Because for you guys, nothing happens. But whatever. I have more water. I mean, I still have water. I'm just drinking it. Garden of Dreams. My favorite custom track ever. Partially because GU made it. And I don't know. It's a very long story about this track and GU and me and blah, blah, blah. I love this track, though. I would never let this track leave the pack ever. I don't think it's a perfect track. I think there's a couple things that I would change if I had a magic wand and I could. I think the cave section's a little underwhelming. But, like, this track's so good, man. I love this track so much. Oh, GBAs. Oh, we get a bunch of retros. Boo Lake, yes! I've never cared about this version of Boo Lake. I don't think I've ever cared about Boo Lake as a general layout to begin with. Slime Server did his best to make it interesting. I think he half succeeded. But I don't know. I've never really cared about it. I don't have much to say about this track. I think nothing really happens. And that's how Boo Lake is. Yeah, I don't know. BC1, get rid of it. No one, even the casual players that I've talked to don't want to play this track. It's just a loop with slow ramps that no one likes. I don't know anyone who likes this track. I don't know. Yeah, I would get rid of it. BC2 and BC4 are both incredible, fantastic. Keep both of them for sure. I will say that this is a crazy vehicle mods, by the way. I will say there are some very long straightaways, especially on BC2. But they are broken up in the middle by gameplay. It's not like you're literally going straight and wheeling the whole time. Or maybe on this one you are. I don't know. I think they work good as Bowser Castles because BC3 kind of has that thing as well. GBA BC3 in the like base game. So I think it kind of works well fitting to that format and then being interesting everywhere else. I think both these tracks are fantastic. Visually they hold up, especially BC4. I really love the background here. Maybe a 2040 kind of project, if they ever need to be improved. But I think they're fine for now. Broken Pier, keep it. I like this track. I like this version of the track a lot. I will say the post effects are pretty strong. Actually, I haven't played this with the anti-blur, anti-effect thing. Maybe it's a little better now. But I need to look at that. I don't know. Cheap Island. Sorry, I just spaced out super hard. Cheap Island. Put it this way, the gameplay on this track is almost perfect. I think that the only thing it really needs is that casuals who take this shortcut, or I think it's over here somewhere. The casuals who take this shortcut need to not ram into this wall. They need something on the outside here to save them from ramming into the wall. Other than that, I think the gameplay of this track holds up. But the visuals are from 2012, so they don't. This needs a visual full overhaul. Probably take the visual style from the, like... Squire did a good job making a version of... He just got bored, so he ported Tor's Cheap Island. Visually, it was incredible. Way better than this. I would like that theme on this version. But the Tor version of the track kills half of the track's layout, which is lame. So, like... Yeah, I think that this is fine. No issues. That is... But I really, really think we need a visual update on this direly. This is one of the worst visual tracks in the pack, in my opinion. Cheeseland, new update, good, keep it. I still think we could cook harder with the visuals, but that's like a later project. It's fine for now. Thank God we have the old Cheeseland back. God fucking damn, that's my B, dude. I can't believe we did that, like, to begin with. Yeah, my fault, I guess. Lakeside and, well, I'll get to Riverside later. Lakeside, keep it. Again, I'm going to say the same thing for, like, all of these tracks. Cheeseland, Lakeside, I'll say it for Peach Circuit. Well, I'm indifferent for Peach Circuit. Say it for Rainbow Road. Say it for Riverside. Say it for Sunset Wilds. All of those tracks that I just listed on top of Cheap Island and Cheeseland and maybe BC2, BC4. Gameplay, perfect. Don't touch it. Visuals, need a full remake urgently. Because they're all like a decade old. And we need to cook with this. But the gameplay on stuff like Lakeside is perfect. It doesn't need to be touched at all. It works perfectly. GBA Luigi Circuit. Luigi Circuit's always been in a rough spot from the GBA where it's like, how do I put this? Kind of like the worst track in the game. There's nothing really happening on this track. And the theme is pretty like gloomy. A lot of people have tried to make like good versions of it, but they've all kind of just been like generic drive it yourself circuit. Flint, I think, did a very good job of making it interesting by adding a ton of creative liberty, and I like that. But I just think GBA Luigi Circuit as a base layout is like not good. I don't think anything of interest really happens on this track. And so because of that, I wouldn't really, like, if I'm looking at the list of retros, this is one of the ones I would remove. Because there's nothing going on. Like, Mario Circuit at least, like, has good, like, racer interaction for the most part. Luigi Circuit, I feel like literally nothing happens on this track ever when I play it. Mario Circuit, I think, is fine. It's a little weird, I guess, sometimes. But, like, it's fine. It's short. It doesn't overstay its welcome. It plays decently. I like how the inside boost panel here plays. I like how the end of the track plays. Solid. No issues. Peach Circuit, I felt the same as all these other ones, but, like, the only issue with Peach Circuit is, like, first of all, this is maybe the worst track visually out of the GBAs. It's trees and grass. Like, wow, this is not good. And I don't think the gameplay of this track is that crazy. It's very solid. There's no issues with it. It's another track where nothing happens like Luigi Circuit, except it's clean. Luigi Circuit, just kind of as a layout, isn't clean. Peach Circuit is, so it gets like a little bit of a pass. But I've seen like a work in progress update from one guy in the track tester server. I don't know how public that update is meant to be per se, but like he added some like actually interesting points of gameplay to this track, and it worked, and it's like really good. He hasn't finished it. I don't think he's worked on it in a year, so that might not actually ever happen. But that's kind of why I'm indifferent about Peach Circuit, is because I think you could cook harder on the layout if you wanted to. But I don't think Peach Circuit is that bad, but like who's playing it? Peach Circuit. Yeah, it's 189. Not many people are playing this, and that's kind of been the case for a long time. So I think this is the kind of thing where like, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna stay for much longer. Rainbow Road, one of the best retros in the pack. Keep it. Ribbon Road, keep this too. This is obviously like a newer remake. So it has the newer stuff. The recent update we added kind of like messed with the lighting in a weird way. I think the old version's lighting actually looked a little better, low key. But that's for, I don't know. That's for later people to figure out. The only problem I have with this track is the same problem that everyone else seems to have with this track, which is there is a cycle-based shortcut with an Aurora object somewhere like over here, maybe. It's on the blue. It's like this part of the track somewhere. It doesn't play well. I don't like it. A lot of people seem to not like it, and they complain pretty consistently about it. But the author really likes it, so they're not going to get rid of it, which is fine. Beyond that, and beyond the lighting, like very small visual tweaks, I wouldn't really change anything here. I think this is a very well-made track. So no issues there. Riverside, as I said earlier, gameplay's fine. Keep it as is. Visuals, maybe rework them. This cut is like hard. It's like feels a little annoying at first, but once you get it down, it's really not that bad. Kind of one of those things where people have said for a while to be like, hey, you should rework this cut to be a little more functional. And I'm like, I see where you're coming from, but I think it's fine as is. If you make it more functional, you also make it stronger just by default of how it works. So I don't know. I think Riverside, no issues, but needs a visual tweaking a little bit because this is just, you took the same tree and pasted it everywhere, and otherwise there's nothing going on. Sky Garden, I have no issues with, I think. This is pretty much perfect. Like, not much going on visually on Sky Garden, but that's kind of always been the case. Maybe you could do some interesting stuff with, like, vines in the background, like, I don't know. I have no idea what you could do with this. I think it's fine as is. I think it's, like, near perfect. GBS Snowland. Oh, I love this, dude. This is probably my favorite retro in the pack that is, like, a complete reimagining of said retro. Because he, like, did his own take on, like, adding this, like, building near the beginning. It's so good, dude. I love this track. I wouldn't touch anything on it. The GCN's Baby Park. It's a necessary evil. It is, as much as I hate it, you gotta keep it. And the shells passing over the middle is apparently how it works in the GameCube version. If you shoot a red shell this way, it'll just go, like, over. Or a green shell or whatever. It'll just go, like, over. That's fine. No issues. Maxi did a crazy job on making this track hold up, like, over, because this is, I think, approaching a decade old as well. It still holds up really well, so I have no issues with this. But yeah, I have no issues. GCNBC keep. Spoiler alert, I don't think I'm voting remove on many of the, I think I'm voting keep for almost all the GCN tracks, but I would, if possible, make this a little shorter lap count or lap time wise, because this track's really weirdly long right now. It doesn't need to be this long. I would just shorten some of the straights if possible. I think it is possible, just need to cook a little. That's how I feel about it for the most part. But yeah, good track. I like GCN Bowser Castle a lot. Daisy Cruiser, no issues. Dino Jungle. This is such a bad picture of Dino Jungle. This was taken in no clip, but the track doesn't load in no clip, so this is just the regular track model without the skybox or objects. We need an in-game picture of this. But yeah, keep that, no issues. GCN Luigi Circuit. I have never liked this layout. Just a me thing. Totally just a me thing. This is the best this track's ever going to get. Talk did a good job. I just don't like Luigi Circuit as a layout. Hence I'm voting indifferent. But I don't hate it. Mushroom Bridge, keep it. No. Well, okay. So, like, the Wiggler at the beginning really shouldn't be like that. But Talk said it's funny, so he's not going to remove it. I would maybe increase the box count as well per lap. I think putting boxes inside of cars is fine. But, like, overall, I would keep it once you do those few things, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't get rid of Mushroom Bridge as a whole just because of those two things. Same way I feel about Mushroom City. This needs scaling changes, but aside from that, it's fantastic. I have no issues with it. GCN Rainbow Road. I'm gonna say the same thing as Bowser's Castle, except I'm more indifferent towards it. Visually, fantastic. Gameplay wise, way too long. Does not need to stay that long. I would make everything, all the straight sections, way shorter, if possible. I think that would just make the track play much better. If it was 3 laps, but each lap was like 50 seconds and not a minute and a half. That's how I feel. Sherberland, no issues. Fix this mini-map, though. I don't know why we did... I don't know why I let that through. I shouldn't have. Fix the mini-map. But, like... I don't know. Like, other than that, it's fine. It's perfect. Wario Coliseum. Okay. This is a crazy picture for Yoshi Circuit. Keep that. Wario Coliseum is a weird track because this is basically a perfect rendition of it from the GameCube version. But the way that it works in the GameCube version is for GameCube version physics. The vehicles on Mario Kart Wii can't take turns this tight for the most part. And because of that, this track kind of sucks in Mario Kart Wii. I think you need to add like half pipes to a lot of these turns. You need to reimagine a lot of this track to make it work properly. And doing that's pretty hard. So I'm pretty indifferent to this. I'm like bordering on saying to remove this. I think you could cook. I think it's currently banned right now because it's too strong because there's no shortcuts and it's like a bunch of really tight turns that you can only take one way. So if you back an item on it, the other guy just gets hit for free. Definitely needs cookage, but I don't know how you would cook it, so I'm indifferent towards it. We'll see. I just realized I am not voting to remove a lot of tracks. That's a good sign, I guess. Glacier Mine, I love Glacier Mine. Yeah, I guess I'm not as harsh as I once was, which is good. Although I think I keep evaluating tracks on like remake or reimagining potential. Like I'm voting to keep something like Sunset Wilds, even though it visually does not look great right now, based on how it could look hypothetically if someone cared enough. Oh, I have to sneeze. Oh, it's like going away though. Oh, I hate this. Oh, give me a second. Hi, Snows. Very cool. Glimmer Express Trans. This track is very hard to digest, I guess, for newer players because there's so many strats on it. But I think the strats do work well. I don't have an issue with this track personally. So I would say to keep it. However, as I have said with many of the other tracks, I think this needs a visual touching up. I think this track looks not good. I think you definitely could cook a lot more with the visuals on this track than we have so far. So I would like to see that at some point in the future. It would just be something that's nice to see. But it's not needed yet. Like, it's fine for now. Gothic Castle. I have never been a big fan of Gothic Castle. So, like, I'm not sure. Would I keep... I'm indifferent, I guess. I wouldn't kill it. Well, maybe I would. I think this track needs a visual rework, too. I think it's pretty ugly. Like, way more ugly than Glimmer, for example. But also, the gameplay doesn't really do it for me. It's like a straight into a spiral, into a weird turn, into another weird turn. I don't know. There's a lot of not much happening on this track for me. But it's not bad. I guess I'll vote indifferent. I might want to revisit this at some point. I feel like I'm being kind of nice to the tracks because I'm like recording myself talking about them and like talking myself through them and going like, well, it's not terrible. But I'm like close to wanting to remove this. I don't think Gothic Castle lives forever, but it's also like not. I think people do like the gameplay on it, kind of. I don't think it's that bad. I don't know. I'll need to play it more and revisit it. I think this could cook with like an update, but I do think it needs some kind of update because I don't think it's there. You know what I mean? Halogen, same thing. This is a classic old track, one of the most memorable old tracks, but it really needs an update, especially to make it shorter lap-wise because I would like it to be 3 laps because it's pretty close to it. But some of the track parts are just too long, you know what I mean? So this needs a bit of cooking as well. But I love Halogen. This is a crazy HD photo. I don't know where this was taken, but whatever. Yeah, could be a little cleaner with that. Haunted Gardens. Okay, how do I vote on this? I would like Haunted Woods to be in the pack and not this. I would like Old Haunted Woods to come back. So I say remove. I guess that's technically removing it. Because I'd be switching this out for another track, kind of. Even though they're like basically the same layout, they're not the same. But I would like Haunted Woods to come back. Not the very old version, like not that exact track file. I definitely want to touch it up a little bit. But like Shadow's version got a little closer to what I want. Just needs a little bit more character polishing and like visual polishing. But yeah, not this. I don't know. I don't think this track's terrible, but I definitely am a much bigger fan of Haunted Woods compared to Gardens. So that's how it is. Hell Pyramid. Yeah, keep it. It's fine. Again, with the visuals, I don't think there's too much happening. I think you could go way harder with the pyramid theme, with like putting cool stuff in here. But I think it's fine. You know what I mean? I don't think there's too much of an issue with Hell Pyramid as is. I don't have many gripes with it. Honeybee Hideout, incredible. Keep it. Ice Cream, same thing. I think I'm almost halfway through. I just need to keep pushing through this fucking video. I think we're almost halfway. Incendia. There's a lot to say about Incendia. I tried remaking this track as a direct, like, request from Bean to be like, well, he wanted to hand it off to someone, so he handed it off to me. I can't, dude. This track is, like, laid out in such a specific way where it's impossible to change the gameplay on it anywhere. I don't know how to explain that any other way. At least the lap 1 and lap 2 paths are just, like, not possible to change. I did what I could, but I was just unable to, like, finish it, really. Other people need to cook a little harder for this. But this remake will happen eventually, and I would like to keep the track slot because the remake will be good. Even this version of the track, I think, is fine. It's definitely Bean's... the best of the Bean and Chatter's tracks, I think. So, yeah, memorable, iconic, definitely should stay. Just a matter of making a good remake for it, which we're working on. We'll get there. Infernal, keep it. It's good now. It needed a visual update, and it got one. This is the kind of... the old version of Infernal is the exact same kind of track as all the other tracks that I've been saying need an update visually. And Echo looked at it and was like, yeah, it does. And he updated it, and it looks great now. And so there's no issues. Like, the gameplay, a little weird in spots for casual players, but it plays really good at high level. Really good even at, like, a semi-competent level. I am definitely not a high-level player. I'm, like... I struggle to hold, like, 8K VR. Like, I'm not good at the game. But, like, I'm good enough at the game to have fun playing this track. So, good track, keep it. Interstellar just got added, so I'll let it cook for a bit. We'll see how this lies after a year or so. GU Village, love it. One of my favorites. I love GU. Jungle. Okay, here are the 4 jungle tracks. All of the jungle tracks have the curse of the jungle, as I like to call it, which is where all of them are the word jungle followed by a generic word-ish. Cliff, glade, jamble, ruins. Semi-generic. All of them, as a result of this, have very low play count. I think they are all... Well, let me check. Pop, jungle. Jungle Jamble is 136th popularity because it is short, and people pick it because it's short. The other 3 are 195th, 209th, and 214th, which is really bad popularity for all of them. But they're all pretty solid tracks. Jungle Cliff only really needs a visual reworking, like remodeling of things. The gameplay is pretty spot on almost everywhere. Jungle Ruins as well is already pretty spot on. I wouldn't really change much about it. But nobody's really playing these tracks. So for now, it's a matter between these two of like, I would keep it. I think we should keep it. But in like a year or two, if we're really running out of track slots and we don't have anything else to remove, these kind of tracks are gonna have to either get a really big update or go home, I guess. Because it's just like if like they're not being played, and ultimately there isn't a lot going on Jungle Ruins. So I don't know, but I think the track is clean and I like it. Jungle Glade is kind of weird for me, cause like I don't know. I think that like the track layout doesn't do anything crazy for me. It's just a figure eight with a massive cannon. This one shortcut's like kind of cool when you get it to work. My main issue is like this boardwalk section right here. That's like a little two 90-degree turns. Every time I see this played online, which is not often, casual players go here, they jump off this, and then they go straight and they die. They die here, or they die trying to turn this way, or like nobody ever survives this section. It's not really made to be casually friendly, and it's not being played anywhere else. So it's kind of a matter of like, what is this track doing in the pack at the moment? And from my POV, I don't think it's doing a lot. So I guess for that reason, I would vote to remove it. But this track is not bad, though. That's the problem. That's why I feel bad voting removal on these tracks, because they're not bad tracks. I like Jungle Glade. It's just, it's not really doing a lot. Jungle Jamble's just funny. Keep it forever, I guess. I think Super Monkey Ball deserves better representation, maybe? But, like, I don't know. People like it, so I won't complain. I can't get into tracks that are this simple, but whatever. Kamix Library. I know a lot of people do not like Kamix. We did update it to fix some of the problems. I don't know if that update ever got added. I think it did. Not 100%. Sure. Sorry. Ouch. I don't know. I think the track theming is good, and I think the track gameplay is not terrible. I know it had some pretty severe problems in competitive, especially with bagging, but we either did fix it, or are we working on fixing it? I should... Yeah, I don't know. I would keep it though. Like we're fixing it. You know what I mean? I think people should let us try to fix it still. And I think the gameplay as a base is pretty good. And I know casuals like this track a lot, so I think it's fine. Kanoko Cave, old, iconic. Some casual issues in this end section with like not knowing how to take it. People fall off a lot, but I think it's fine. Ish. I think the gameplay. I don't know. I like the gameplay. I think it could use a bit better visuals though. But I think Kanoko Cave is pretty iconic, and I think that the gameplay is, like, not bad. I think it just needs a little bit more careful fine-tuning of, like, how to make sure that casuals don't have the worst experience ever. But I think it could cook. Koopa Shell, Pipeland. What's the pop on this? It's 185. Okay. This track kind of suffered from a problem where Mr. E made a very solid track, but then he got to the end of the track and was like, oh shit, I need to link this back to the finish line. So if you look at the minimap of the track, it's like a bunch of squiggles where the layout is, and then there's a massive straight line right here all the way back to the beginning of the track. The track itself is solid. There's a couple of issues. There's this one ramp that's always had a lot of problems with, like, if you get shocked on the ramp, you get stuck behind it, and it's near, like, the half-pipe section, and that's pretty annoying. But, I don't know. I think you could cook on this and fix it, but not many people are playing it that much. I guess that leaves me indifferent towards it. I like this track, though, a lot. I think a lot of the ideas are really cool, these sewer kind of tracks. But I think, I don't know. I think there are better tracks with that theme at this point. Koopa Shell Pipeline is definitely good, but it's not. Just it has a couple of small flaws that kind of add up. I will say, as a side note to this, that sewer track by I think TZ and Taco Josh, that needs to get finished, dude. I'm so mad that that track's not done, because that track is so good. But anyways, that's a digression. Lava Lake, perfect, keep it, no issues. I mean, I personally think it could use very minor visual touch-ups in a few spots, but, like, the gameplay on this track is incredible. It might be the best playing custom track, like, straight up. No issues. Lava Road. We tried to make this visually better to see like 5 times, and like everyone on council agreed, yeah, this is better. Like we can see the road better now, and then everyone else disagreed and was like, no, I have more problems seeing the road now, actually. So I have no idea what to do with Lava Road. I have never really cared about the layout of the track, but I know a lot of people do. I think that the track does play well from what I understand once you get to a higher level of play. So in that sense, I think it should stay. It's more of a matter of like making the visuals actually viewable and making sure that the tech and stuff on the track is not like that it's all fine still, which it is. Uh it's just hard to update Lava Road and most people don't really want to. I think people have this idea that you kind of have to keep the dark theming of the track, but like it's just not. You can't see it on a bad display right now. You just can't see it, so that's kind of the problem there. But we'll maybe work on it. We'll see what we can do. Lost Fortress is a crazy trick this guy's in right now. I think he side tricked the ramp over here, I guess. Yeah, no problems. Another mega track. All of the mega tracks have really good gameplay. But none of them have particularly outstanding visuals. So I'll say the same thing as the other 2 tracks that we saw earlier. Or I guess 3. Just get a proper visual remake on this that actually makes it look like a fortress and not like a weird Roblox obby world thing. Because right now it looks like, I don't know how to describe it. It just kind of looks like a thing in the middle of nowhere. Like a nondescript structure, I guess. You could totally make this look like a fortress and it would look sick. But that needs like a reimagining, and a lot of people probably don't want to do that. So, I don't know. But this track's good. I like playing it. Lost Ruins. Okay. Lost Ruins. I don't know how this happened, but Lost Ruins somehow ended up like the least played track ever. Like, this track is not being played. It's 202 right now, which is actually the highest I've seen it in a while. But this track's gameplay is like good. I don't know. The bagging route is kind of troll, I've heard. But like the regular route, well, okay, I guess it's like, so he made it play like Peach Gardens. That was the point of Lost Ruins, was a Zelda themed track, and he wanted it to play like Peach Gardens. So there's 3 item box sets, and there's a massive shortcut right at the beginning. Some people do not like that, because they don't like Peach Gardens, so they don't like this track either. And I think that that's fair. He made an update where he added another item box set and made the cut a little more manageable. We haven't added that yet, I think, but we're working on it. Once we do add it, I think that that track will be kind of cooked. So I want to see where that goes first. I want to give it another like year or so with that update, because I really like this track. I think it is deserving of like being in the pack, because I think it's really well made. It's just a problem of like people aren't playing it, and people had those like gameplay problems with it. So we'll see where it goes. Luigi's Island. Full honesty, I don't like this track. I think we have so much better in terms of simple layouts that are custom tracks. This track doesn't look particularly great in my opinion, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. I wouldn't keep it. But I know a lot of people like it though. So again, these are just my opinions at the end of the day. But like, I don't know. I just don't see anything interesting on Luigi's Island. There's grass, there's trees, there's water. It's like there's nothing happening here. My nose is kind of getting stuffy, I'm realizing, listening to myself. Sorry if I sound terrible as the video goes on. That's just kind of what's happening. Lunar Lights, keep it. This is one of the most legendary tracks ever added. So obviously keep this. I'm going to say a potentially hot take. I think this track could use a visual rework, because I don't think it looks very good. See, I think it looks fine for the most part, but there's definitely some parts where I think it looks not super great. I think it's a little dated feeling, and I think you could get it up to par without like too much effort. Like, it's still sneaky, so it's still good, but I don't know. I think you could cook harder with these, but this is like a 2030 project. This doesn't need to happen yet. Lunch and Tour, keep it. Fantastic. I don't have many issues with this. It's a little pale looking, but like, Actually, yeah, I just realized this lava is like bright pink. It's supposed to be like hot pink. You know what I mean? Like hot pink. Oh, we'll see. I don't know. Magmatic. I've never cared too much about magmatic. It's a little hard to see, and the gameplay is like okay. It's like there's not nothing happening, but there's not a lot happening. If that makes sense. But I think it's fine. I don't know. I'm indifferent towards it. I've always been indifferent, and no one's really playing it. So in that sense, I think it will be removed at some point. But I don't think this track is that bad. But I don't think it's like incredible either. I think it's like an okay track. Mansion. I have always been a mansion hater because I'm bad at the game. That hasn't really changed. I do think that the ending boost panel section might be the worst section of any track in CTGP. Aside from like maybe the Peaks Mushrooms. It's just a cutscene. It's a boost panel. You can't do anything. You can't hit people with items. You can't do anything on that section. It's just a cutscene section. There's no point to it. The cycles on the thwomps at the end are a little troll. I have many nitpicks about this track, and I could go into them in detail later some other day, but I will remain indifferent about this. But I used to vote remove on this track. Now I don't feel that way, because I do see that the track is at least memorable to a lot of people, and it does have some good points, like for sure. It's just really a matter to me of like, I hate the end of this track. I think the end of this track sucks. But that's just how it is. Marble Towers. Bowser 498 likes this track a lot. I am indifferent to it, but like not. Well, let me think. I think the theming of this track is fantastic. I think the execution is a little weird because a lot of the turns are reliant on Sticky Road to work, and it doesn't work. This track has a lot of jank and a lot of bugs as a direct result of that. But I don't think the track itself is actually bad. I think I would keep it. Maybe sometime in the future we can try to update it, maybe? But I'm not sure. This is another track where I think I want other people's opinions. Because, like, I don't know. I have never cared that much about Marble Towers, personally. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's great either. So other people can say what they will about that track, I suppose. Mario Castle Raceway, another 3DS track that I don't care about. It's just there's grass, there's trees. There's not even trees. There's not even trees. No, there's like cherry blossom trees like behind the camera here. Otherwise, it's grass, water, castle, spiral sucks, nothing going on. Who cares? Like I don't care. Oh my god, I love Mech Factory, dude. This is one of the best tracks ever. Holy shit, this track's so good. Maybe it could be a little. I think it needs a couple of arrows and could be like very barely brighter in a few sections. Because I've seen some like really bad displays have issues with this. But like this track's so good, man. I love this track. No issues there. Medieval Castle Grounds. Medieval Castle Grounds is weird to me. I have always seen this as another trees, grass, water, and nothing else. But other people seem to like it because the gameplay is just really clean on it. I'm still going to be indifferent towards it, ultimately. But like, I don't know, man. I don't see it. I think this track is very, very okay. It is not bad at all, but it's not incredible from my POV. Also, I hate this spiral. This spiral is so uneven. I hate it. But when I commented when this track was being made, I made a comment like you should make the spiral a little more even maybe because I think it would play better, and everyone laughed at me. So that didn't happen. Why is there a big space after the? Okay, whatever. Melody Sanctum. Keep it. I think this track is another like kind of legendary one. I think it definitely does need like a little reworking just to like make it cleaner, I guess, if that makes sense. But it doesn't really need that much. I would like to make it maybe a little shorter on the straightaways because I feel like this track being 2 laps is kind of silly. But it was definitely too long as 3, but like only by a little bit. But I like this track. What a Spy Kids better tracks for sure. Uh, yeah, I don't have too much to say about it. Melting Magma Melee. How do I feel about melting? Similarly to some of the earlier harder tracks, my opinions on melting have changed a lot over the years. I think this is probably going to be the first time that I don't vote to remove it. Um, and there's reasons for that. The shroom list didn't really change anything for me. That was like I didn't even know how to do that to begin with. What really I think changed in my head is just the fact that we are adding. CTGP is already planning on adding a mode that like how do I put it like a split track list kind of thing. We've gone into detail about this before. Um, Basically, people are not going to be forced to play melting online forever, if that makes sense. I think that this track, at minimum, should exist for time trials and for competitive play. I think in both of those places, this track is fantastic, and that there's really no issues with it, gameplay wise at least. So I think that for those reasons, it should stay in the pack. Yeah, casuals playing this on CT Worldwide sucks, but we're working on remedying that a little bit. And we'll go more into detail about that in the future, I guess, when that's kind of ready. Which that might be like a year or two, though. But that's how it is at the moment. Yeah, melting is, I think, I don't like this track, but I don't think this track is actually bad. However, that being said, I still stand by. If I had a magic wand and I could change this track, I would make the uphill section over here way different. Like, I think that this is just an objectively bad section at the moment, unlike the rest of the track, which I think is just hard. I would change this uphill section to not go that far uphill because I think it is poorly designed at the moment. But the rest of the track is like fine. I have no issues with the rest of the track. I will also say that I don't like the visuals on this track, but that's a me thing. Those are my general thoughts. I would like to go into more detail about melting elsewhere some other time maybe, but those are just my thoughts for now. I don't know. That's just how it is. Midnight Museum, keep the track, but this track needs a major rework. There's many different turns on this track where you just like get shot into the wall because you took a ramp the wrong way. It's really bad at the moment in terms of that. I think that should be fixed. It's pretty silly right now. I don't know. Like I watch casuals play this track online. They can't play it. They keep running into walls and losing like 10 seconds a lap because they're running into shit everywhere. It's really bad. So this needs like a pretty big rework because of that. But like the track itself, incredible theme. Very well done. Squire is obviously incredible at visual stuff. It just needs the layout to be a little better cooked. That's all. Mushroom Island. Kill it! Kill it! I don't know why this is still in the pack. I'm sorry to all the Mushroom Island heads, but like, I don't know, man. I made that update a while ago where like the mushrooms were better than previous, and you didn't have to turn on the mushrooms anymore. But it's still like not good. The theming's weird. The visuals are weird. I don't know anyone. I know very, very few people who enjoy this track enough for it to be warranted to stay. I think this track has a lot of problems. Sorry. I think this track has some pretty weird issues with gameplay. I don't think the gameplay on this track is great. Like the shortcut's kind of iconic because you soar through the air or whatever, but I don't think it's very good. I don't know. Maybe other people's opinions are more valuable than mine, but I don't like Mushroom Island at all. And Peaks, I'm gonna say the same thing. Probably no surprise here. I really wish we had removed it when we had the opportunity to do so, because now we're probably stuck with this forever. At least it'll be a secret track for now. Sucks. It just sucks. There's nothing good on this. The wall trick on the one big uphill ramp is fun. Everything else on this track sucks. It's just not fun. I have learned it. I know how to play it. Sucks. And that's kind of all. Musical Cliff. Sorry to Musical Cliff. I like Luca, and I like the Luca tracks a lot. But this track, just again, trees, grass, water. But the water's just orange, and there's nothing else going on. There's like a couple of enemies. There's like these weird fireballs at the end of the track that are purple for some reason. I don't know why. I think they're purple. I might be misremembering. Weird. I don't know. I never liked it. Or I never. That's not true. I liked it. Like, it was solid, but I never was like a mega fan. I think this track's just okay. And it's also just not being played anymore. So I think if a track is just okay and it's not being played anymore, I just don't really see what it's doing for the pack, you know what I mean? So I'd remove it for now, unfortunately. Musical Motorway, one of my favorite 3DS tracks for sure. I love this track. It's because it's interesting and it has things going on. Yeah, I think it works fine in this game. Like, I don't really have many issues with it. Not much to say, I guess, outside of that. I think it's just solid. Mystic Tangle. So Mystic Tangle's weird. It's like not being played that much. What's it at right now? Oh, I misspelled it really hard. Yeah, 193 is the highest I've ever seen it. This is not being played. So, oh, I just realized. Is it being? Okay, never mind. No, it's not. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just not being played. I was never a big fan of the track either. I'm indifferent on it for now. This is probably going to shift to a remove over time as it just doesn't get played anymore still. Again, it's not a bad track. I don't hate the track. It's okay, especially for a Pokemon track. I didn't play this game, so I don't recognize the theming, but like it is Pokemon themed some area. I don't know where. I don't know. It's just okay. But I don't think this is going to stay in CTGP for too long. That's how it is. Oh, the N64 tracks. Banshee Boardwalk, I'll just go through. I would make very minimal changes to Banshee, to Choco, to Koopa Troopa Beach, which I have to defend in a second, but I will. Royal Raceway, the new stadium's incredible, and Yoshi Valley. Yoshi Valley, these trees are not good either, and the bushes are like the other trees I was complaining about earlier. This needs a visual, maybe make it look a little better. But gameplay wise, it's fine. Royal Raceway, this is my favorite Nintendo track ever. Royal Raceway, so obviously I'm gonna vote to keep it. I think that this version could cook a little bit. It looks a little, lighting wise, a little drearier than I think I would like it to be personally. But it's a overall good track. It kind of has the trees I complain. It's fine. It's fine. But it could be a little better. But it's fine for now. Koopa Troopa Beach. Hear me out, Boshi, you fucker. I enjoy playing this track. Okay? Everyone makes fun of me because I like Koopa Troopa Beach. This is one of the least played tracks ever, and it's grass, trees, water, and sand. But I like it, okay? I get my one, okay? Give me my one. It's Koopa Troopa Beach. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I used to be a spear player. Like, I'm still kind of a spear player in my heart. And this is a pretty good spear track. I agree nothing really happens. It would be nice to get more happening on this track and for like a little bit of cleaner. But it's already kind of clean. I don't know. You could definitely cook a little bit with this. This isn't like the end-all, like perfect rendition of Koopa Troopa Beach by any means. But I really don't think it's that bad. I think it's just kind of like not much happens. But I do think you need a few retros where nothing happens. And I think if you're gonna have retros where nothing happens, they should at least be retros where nothing happens, but it's like clean and somewhat enjoyable. And I think that Koopa Troopa Beach fits that bill. I would not be opposed to removing it because it does have the same problems as most of the 3DS tracks that I've been complaining about. But I like it. I don't know. It's just, I like it, man. That's just how it is. Okay, Frap Snowland, I like it, but like, how do I put it? It's really hard to make this track interesting. Zilla's old version of the track had a cool shortcut. Then we updated it to a new version because Zilla didn't want us to update his version, so we needed a new one. And the new one doesn't have that shortcut, so it sucks. Like it doesn't suck, but like no one's playing it. I shouldn't say sucks. That's not a good way to phrase it. But like nobody's playing this, and nothing really happens on the track. Um, I think that Frap Snowland as a slot is like maybe cookable if you tried really hard. But like right now, I'm kind of on the fence of like removing it because like it's just not. Is it being played at all? We just updated it too, and it's still 163rd even after a very recent update. Um, I don't know, man. It's like it's not bad, but it's not perfect, you know? Well, I mean, obviously not perfect. You know what I mean. I think that maybe if everybody came together and really brainstormed really hard, you could maybe get an interesting version of Frap Snowland. But I think what we have right now is just not it. I don't think a lot of people are playing this, and I don't think a lot of people are caring about this at the moment. So in that sense, I would remove it for now. But if we can get a version that is a little cleaner, and I do like the visuals on this version as well, just as an aside. Um, the snow tracks have always had like a problem where you can't really distinguish between a regular road and out of bounds without making the snow like either gray or blue, which is weird because snow is not blue. But like the transition on this track is not really there, and it's like wrong in a few places now. I don't know. There's a lot to talk about with Frap Snowland. I think you could cook, but I don't think it has cooked at the moment, so we'll have to see. N64 Rainbow Road, I have never been a fan of this layout. Just of N64 Rainbow Road to begin with. The N64 one and the 8 Deluxe one. CP Fusion did as good of a job as anyone could do to make it work well. So I think I'm overall indifferent towards it. Like, I wouldn't remove it on, like, basically every other version of the track that exists. But, like, I don't know, man. It's just, nothing happened. I don't know. I'm not a fan. I don't like looking at Rainbow Road and seeing fucking grass in the background either. That's just a pet peeve, but, like, whatever. I think it's fine, though. I don't think this track is bad, but I'm not, a mega fan of it. Neo Koopa City. This is a good 3DS retro. This one's... Maybe this is the most iconic. I don't know. What is the most iconic 3DS track? I wonder. I'd have to poll people, I guess, about it. But yeah, this track is really solid. It's just solid. There's not too much it needs changing wise. I don't think anything really. Yeah, solid. Keep it. Oh well, there's the ramp at the end kills you though. That should probably be fixed. But aside from that, that would just be widening the end section here and then tapering it back inwards. But aside from that, because it's like that in 7, because the glider, you go off it and then you go over here and it's like a shortcut. Whatever. You can fix that. New Moon Manor, one of the best tracks. I love the track. Neverbia. Okay. Here's what I have to say. Of all of the old tracks that exist, all of the tracks that are like 2015 or earlier, like a decade old or older. Sorry, I'm hiccuping right now. I don't know why. Out of all of the old tracks that are a decade old or older, especially out of all the Spy Kid tracks, why Neverbia? Why has Neverbia survived? I don't fully understand that. I think that he has so many tracks that are so much better than Neverbia. I just think he does. We talked about Melody earlier. We'll go to Obstagoons is right there. Actually, that track's really good. Stuff like Superstar, even stuff like Dreamworld Cloudway, which got removed, Aquania, which got removed. I'd way rather play Aquania than this. But that's just me. Like, maybe that's just me. I don't know. I never got it. I never understood what makes Neverbia interesting to the people who it's interesting for. I'm pretty sure that this is not being... It just got updated, though, so right now it's being played. But, like, before, it wasn't really being played, and I think it'll drop back down to, like, the 150 or lower range. So we'll have to see where this goes. If it's up to me, I would remove this pretty much directly in place of just any other old Spy Kid track that is better. Because there's many of those. Like, kill this, bring back Dreamworld. I'd rather have Dreamworld than this. Or Aquania than this, like, for sure. That's just how I feel. And the remake didn't really give it, like, crazy visuals. It just gave it a light map that works. But now it's, like, kind of dark. I don't know. There's a lot happening. I'll deal with it separately, I guess, someday. Northern Heights, fantastic. Pianta Shore, fantastic. It's a little simple, but again, if you're gonna have simple tracks, let it be something like this. Shout out to Nate Fox. Pipe Underworld. I'm gonna say the same thing here as I said about Melting. Every other poll I have voted to remove this. This track's just not for me, but it doesn't have to stay for me. I think it's fine. I honestly think Pipe Underworld is fine. Now, there are a few changes that need to be made. That split path at the end, the blind path that kills you, get rid of it. No reason for it to be there. There's a couple of spots that are pretty janky feeling, but I don't know how higher level feels about it. Basically, what I'm saying is that specifically Pipe Underworld, Melting, and like maybe Glimmer, I think that these kind of tracks, outside of visuals, should really only be looked at like competitively, because these tracks are for the competitive players. That's what they are. So as long as, and I'm not a competitive player, so I don't think my opinion really matters here. Therefore, I'm gonna keep it because that's what competitive players seem to want. I will say the visuals are pretty not super great on this, but I don't know what you would do to make Pipe Underworld such a weird track that like I don't know what you would do to make the visuals that great. But they're not bad, you know what I mean? They're just okay. The only thing that I would say is that split path at the end that kills you needs to be removed at some point. For sure. But otherwise, I don't know, this is fine. Piranha Plant Pipeline, another 3DS track that I don't care about. This one might be a little surprising because I know a lot of people who do like this, but this might be like one of my least favorites, even out of the ones I don't like. I have never liked this track. I think the 3DS retros, there's so much better. There's way better. Just in general, nothing happens. I don't know, man. You go through the sewers. It's not fun to me. I don't know how to explain it. I just don't like this track at all. Okay, Quaking. How do I explain my thoughts about Quaking? This track, phenomenal visuals. The theming is so unique and it's so interesting, but the layout doesn't have anything going on really. There's that one part of the track where the shortcut exists lap 1 and then disappears lap 2 and then comes back lap 3 as a shroom cut. That's cool, but other than that, this track has really nothing going on. I mean, yeah, there's a bridge, there's the cave with the thwomp things, but like, oh no, I don't know, man. What are people playing? 208, this is not being played. This is one of the least played tracks in the pack because there's nothing happening. But it's so good visually that I feel bad voting to remove it. What did I vote for Camp Cardigan? Indifferent. Okay, I'm going to say the same then. Because I feel the same about this track as I do as that one. Whereas they're both very good, but just nothing happens. And we're going to have to get rid of the nothing happens at some point. Because the whole point is to make tracks that are... I can get into it for fucking like 30 minutes, but I'll pass. Sorry. Rainbow Road Solar. So this has had a lot of controversy over the years, right? This is a old big auto track. The driving on this track is phenomenal, and as a spoiler, I will vote to keep this. But like, everyone has always been saying like, this track is long, you should make it 1 lap, or like, I don't know. People are saying like, oh, the other versions are better because they're a little cleaner. I don't agree that any of the other versions are very clean, like cleaner than this. I think that this really genuinely gameplay-wise is the best version of 3DS Rainbow Road, and I think it will be forever. The problem is, I do think even after the ZPL update, it's a little behind visually. I would like to see a little bit cleaner, just more space decoration everywhere. I don't know how else to explain it. I wish I had better pointers for this kind of thing when I'm pointing it out on every track. But like, beyond that, I think it's fine. And as far as the whole 1 versus 2 lap thing, I don't really know how to feel about it, but I've never had any personal issues with the races going that long. I think if you're gonna have a track in CTGP be this long, I think that the tracks that should be the longest are this. I think that this should be the longest retro. The fact that there are longer retros is a problem, but I think the longest tracks in CTGP should be this, maybe like something like Incendia Castle, maybe something like Volcanic Skyway, and those should kind of be your like weirdly long tracks. But I think this track being long suits the track well, just because of how it exists, and that's how I see it. Um, but it is true that it's only one lap, one time around the entire track in 3DS, so I get that part. But I don't know. It's Mario Kart Wii. I think we should let that rock. That's all I'm saying. Rock Ridge, 3DS Retro, does nothing. Trees, grass, not even water. It's just air. There's nothing. There's nothing here. I'm sorry. Rosalina Snow World. I've never been a fan of Rosalina Snow World, but not for the same reasons as everything else. I just think I am bad and I hate ice physics. This has been growing on me very strongly over the years. This track does need some fixing, some updating, but I think that the track slot itself, like of Rosalina Snow World, should stay. I think this is a memorable 3DS Retro that is solid. So in that sense, I think it should stay. Royal Rainbow. I'm going to be... zero offense when I say this. I continuously forget that this track is in CTGP. I think that this is the track I have played the least. I think it is the track that I think about the least. I think the track's okay, but it's not... Like, I wouldn't pick it. Yeah, the track's just there. You know what I mean? That's all. That's the only thing I can really say about it, is that the track is there. And that's the best I can give. I'm very indifferent to this. Probably again shifting closer to remove as we get more. I don't know how to explain it. Is not bad, but I don't think this track does anything for me personally to make it stand out in my brain. Ruinated Peach's Castle, good, keep it. Rush City Run, okay. I know a lot of people like this track. I don't. The ramps that send you into walls are not well designed. I think that is a bad design. The ones that are over here especially. I think that is a bad design for a track. But I have talked to a few people and I've been like, hey, hypothetically, if we updated Rush City Run to where the ramps don't send casual players into walls, and that's the only change, what would you think about that? And everyone I've asked about that has said, oh, that would ruin the track. Just instantly. So I don't think this track can be salvaged in a way where I personally feel great about its gameplay. I don't find it fun, even after learning it. I don't know. I think the visuals are a little dated as well. Same with, I mean, both of the Gred Mega tracks, he made those, like, over a decade ago. So, like, that's understandable. But I don't know. I just never liked this style. I don't like this track very much. That's just how it is. Sahara, good, keep it. No issues. Sandstone Cliffs, incredible. Holy shit, Sandstone Cliffs is so good. This might be Citrus's magnum opus, is this or Vile Isle. They're so good. I like Vile Isle more, though. Vile Isle, let's skip to it right now. Vile Isle! Vile Isle, where is it? This is one of my top, probably in my top 5 CTs. I love Vile Isle so much. I love Citrus so much. Incredible tracks. Sadie Clock Tower, good. We just added this. Give it time to cook. I think this track is definitely more casually oriented, but I think it's solid. So, keep it. Lumbercoat. Oh my god, another like top 10 track. Holy. This track just does everything so perfectly. I don't know how to explain it. This track might be one of the best ones in the pack, just like concretely. You know what I mean? Shy Guy Bazaar. I like Shy Guy Bazaar. I think that the theming on this track and just the way everything is structured is pretty solid. This track doesn't get ever too boring for me. I think that the turns, a couple of the turns are a little, like, there's not much happening, but I think that's fine. Like, Shy Guy's Market as a whole is good. I do wish we could do something about that cannon. I don't think that needs to be a cannon. I would like for there to be something else there, but that's for us to figure out later. Siberian Chateau's good. Keep it. I wouldn't change anything about this. And I think it's solid. Six King. Let's be fucking real here, guys. Even if I updated Six King Labyrinth to have really good visuals, well, how do I put it? Six King Labyrinth is really good if you know the way to go. But if you don't know the way to go, then it's miserable. Oh, but no, that puts it in the same category. Actually, yeah, no, never mind. That puts this track in the same category as Pipe Underworld and Melting Magma Melee, where this track at this point is not for casuals. This is for competitive players. Competitive players seem to enjoy this track. because it plays fine. We just need to smooth over the bugs and give it like a visual coat of paint so that it like matches our standards. You know, just do that someday. You know what I mean? But other than that, I think it's fine. You know what I mean? This is not for casuals. This track, because it's not possible to follow as a casual. But that's just how it is. Not every track will be like that. I think having Six King, I think it's iconic at this point. So I think keeping it in whatever state that it can be kept in is good. Sky High Island. I how do I put this? I just don't. This track is like not. Nothing happens. This is another nothing happens track. This is another trees, grass, water. And it's one of the least played tracks in the pack at the moment, I believe. Pop Sky High Island. Bot says 213, so this is bottom 6 played tracks in the pack. It's just not doing anything. It's not bad. It's well made, like visually especially, but like it's just the theme doesn't have anything going on, and the gameplay doesn't have anything going on. I don't really care about it, so I'm fine with seeing it go. Skyline. I think Skyline is another legendary Spy Kid track. I can't believe I didn't think of that earlier when I was listing off Spy Kid tracks, because this is one of his strongest for sure. Just very, very good theme, and he does it pretty solidly. This track always has had some issues with, like, there's so many boost panels on this track that it's really strong for running. But overall, the layout, I think, of this track is pretty solid, you know what I mean? And I think that over time we can probably address some of the, like, catch-up potential kind of stuff on the track. I think we can work with it in the future. But the layout of this track, like the base tempo of this track, fantastic. It's legendary, I think. SNES tracks, BC2 keep it. I know a lot of people find this one really long and a little boring, but I don't know. I think this track just works well in Mario Kart Wii. The visuals are fine. I would like to see a little more on it. There's not really much going on, but that's just how it is. BC3 keep it. I would not touch anything really on Donut Plains. Oh, that's it? Donut Plains and BC2, BC3? Damn, okay. Okay, let's go into these. Choco Island. I'll give it a little more time to cook. I've never cared about Choco Island, any version of it, this one included. It's solid. Probably the best that Choco Island will get. It doesn't feel that much like Choco Island, but that's kind of Slime Server's thing, and I think that's fine. But I don't know. I don't care too much about this track. That's just how it is. DP3, by the way, I know some people like, just I guess to talk about it. I know people don't like this track that much sometimes. What's his popularity right now, actually? Donut Plains. 199. Wow, that's low. I guess people aren't really playing this because they're like, I don't care about. It's a Mario Kart 8 track in Mario Kart Wii. It's just like I've seen this before. I just think this plays solidly, just as it is. I think it could use a little bit of tweaking here and there, but like, I think the overall idea here is solid. Definitely would like for it to be cleaned up a little with like the trees and such, but I think it's fine. I've always been a DP3 fan, maybe more so than normal. I don't know. Mario Circuit 1. I've talked to many casual players about Mario Circuit 1. None of them seem to like this track. I think this is a little too simple. I don't think we need to treat casual players like newborn babies who can only handle track layouts that look like this. Even like a 5-year-old wants something more interesting than this. So I don't think we need this. Like, yeah, first Mario Kart track, whatever. I was kind of defending it for a while. But then when I started talking to more people, I started understanding, like, okay, yeah, there's literally no one who cares about this track. So I don't know why we have it. Mario Circuit 2 is at a similar position, but this one at least has a layout. So I think I want to let it cook a little more. Kind of gauge where it is on this form and the form after it. And we'll kind of see what to do with that. Because I don't think this track's that terrible. Like, it doesn't have a lot going on visually, but it's Mario Circuit. That's just kind of how it is. And it doesn't play bad at all. SNES Rainbow Road, keep it, but, like, dude, I'm going to be so honest. I don't think this version of SNES Rainbow Road looks good. I think it looks weird. I would like a version of SNES Rainbow Road that looks not like this. Like, I think about, like, X-Blue's version, for example, looked way better. Like, visually speaking. So I don't know. Uh, those are my thoughts. But the gameplay on this is like pretty much perfect. So, and that's what I care about more. Spectral Station, another track where unfortunately I had the same thing to say on this as I did on Quaking Mad Cliffs and Camp Cardigan. This is popularity 204 in the pack right now, which means it is bottom like 15 most played, like least played, I guess. Nothing really happens. It's a Dino Chicken Nugget mini map with a sausage in the middle. The trains are fine. It's just nothing happens really. There's never really anything going on this. Again, same thing, indifferent. I'll see it in like a few years. These tracks just don't stand out to me. They don't really do anything with the gameplay at all. So that's just how it is. Spike Desert. I like Spike Desert, but I do understand there's a couple of gameplay spots that are like not great right now, and visually it is a super generic. Oh, sorry, I hit my mic. It is a like super generic desert track. It could use much better theming. It could use, maybe more involvement of the Spike guys, because I don't see them. You could cook with this for sure. I don't think the layout's bad, but I don't think it's like super standout. Let me see. The popularity might decide this for me. What is it at? 116. That's not bad. So it's like holding its own. We just need a visual update on this track. I would say keep it, which might be a little contrary because I know there's a lot of people who don't like this. But what I'm saying is get a proper visual rework of this track that looks really good and goes really hard into the desert theme and especially into the spike theme. I think taking inspiration from the Mario Bros stages where the spikes actually appear on for the visual stuff, because I feel like that sand's a little more red if I remember correctly. But like you could cook with this, so I'm gonna hold hope for it. You know what I mean? I think it'd be nice to get an update on that in the future. Spooky Swamp, keep it perfect. Stargaze Summit, gameplay phenomenal. Theming doesn't really exist. Visuals really good for the theme, which doesn't really exist. Hear me out. We should make this track like Celeste themed or something. A Celeste Summit. You know what I mean? Or just something else. Give it another theme. Just texture hack it. We should texture hack if Ferv's okay with that. Obviously, get permission to do that first. But like, we should get a theme that sticks better for this track than just snow. And we should apply it to this track because this track, gameplay wise, is really good. But it's not being played right now. I'm pretty sure. Stargaze. Yeah, it's 190. It's not really being played because it doesn't stand out really, but the gameplay is solid. So I think that we should give this a more memorable theme. Maybe get a little more like involvement with like obstacles and such. Maybe, I'm not sure about that. I'd have to look into it. But at least like a better visual theme, I think would go a long way on this track in particular. That's my thoughts on Stargaze. I would keep it because I like the gameplay of it. But I don't think just similarly. Oh my god, I butchered that. Similarly to the other tracks that are in similar positions of play count, there's nothing really standing out for this track enough for it to stay. And as a result of that, I think it just eventually would be a candidate for removal, even though people generally like this track. Hence why I think it should have a stronger theme so that it has a stronger sticking point. Whether it is, I just said Celeste because Celeste has the summit as its final level. Anything works, snow theme wise. Just give it something, you know what I mean? Stargaze Cityscape, good, keep it. Strawberry's Desert Illusion, good, keep it. We're getting an update on this to fix some of the, like, more intrusive, like the bomb cars and the... Because I love bomb cars, they're very funny, but they don't work in Mario Kart Wii because people online teleport. So if someone online in front of you teleports into a bomb car, they don't get hit by it, but it blows up on your screen, so you get hit by it without actually running into it. It's not really fair. I don't know how to describe it. Those objects just don't work. So we're working on he's working on it. This update that he's cooking is pretty good. We'll be adding that, and I think Strobens after that will be fine. Super Marine World, perfect example of taking a interesting theme and making a simple track out of it that is memorable and like there's different like set pieces, like you go from section to section, and the gameplay is very solid. Doesn't go out of its way to do anything crazy, but it is not boring at all. This track is like perfect. I would say like on the quote unquote objective metric of like working for everyone and doing a good job everywhere, this is like one of the best tracks in the pack. It just does everything like super right. So shout out to Marine World and Mr. Fluffy. That one's good. Super Sky Courtyard. I love spirals. I love going around the spiral 3 times. This is just the secret track thing. I don't know how to say about. I'm a Super Sky Courtyard fan because I think it's funny. I don't hate the track. Because I have like trained myself to enjoy the spiral. I wouldn't mind this being swapped out in the secret track section for any other secret track that is that old. You know what I mean? I'm fine with getting any of those. But I like this. I think this is a lot better than like... I think Super Sky Courtyard is the best secret track that we have had ever? Ever. Yeah, ever. Because the only other ones are the old N64 Rainbow Road, which sucked. No one played it. It was just way too long. Star Slope, which I hated, Disco Fever, which I hated, and this, and now Peaks, which I hate. This is the best secret track we've ever had. IMO. Superstar Dystopia, great Spy Kid track. Really interesting, like, I guess world building is the word. Just environmental building on this track. I think it's really cool. Terra Ursae, fantastic. This is an example. This is the rare example of making a track that is trees, grass, water, but it's like really good though. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like trees, grass, water, but you got interesting with it. You're in a mountain range with pines and such. I don't know if these are pine trees. I don't know what kind of trees these are. You know what I mean? It's not generic trees. It's like you're in an actual climate area and there's like grizzly bears and such. I think that this is really cool. Grand Archives, incredible. Keep it. Great Apple War. I love this track, dude. the angry face on the apples is really funny. I almost said pineapples. You should get some pineapples involved. Pineapples are apples too, I think. Yeah, good track. I like this. I have no issues with this. Like maybe clean a couple. All my issues are minor with any of these tracks. They're all nitpicks. Rabbit Hole. Guess what I'm about to say. Good gameplay. Needs better visuals. This was made over a decade ago. This track kind of has like the crack track theme to where it goes through like a bunch of different parts that don't really feel connected at all. But that's like, it works in this case because it's like Alice in Wonderland. That's kind of how it works. I think keeping that identity while also making the visuals, I don't know, look good is like pretty important for a track like this. I think if you could accomplish that, that would be really good. But for the time being, it's fine. I don't think the visuals are terrible or anything. I just think it could cook a little harder. That's how it is. Thump Bump Forest. Keep it for now. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, I don't have much to say about Thump Bump Forest. I suppose it's solid. Nothing wrong here. I haven't played this track actually a lot now that I'm like thinking about it, because I'm trying to think of like my opinions on it, and I like don't think I've played this track enough to have opinions. That Shroomless is pretty hard if you don't know it, but like once you learn it, it's really not bad. And everything else is pretty solid. Thwomp Swamp. I am sorry to say, I just don't think that people will care about this track at the moment. We've tried to update it a few times to make it like more popular than Nearly Last, and it just hasn't worked. I think it's time. Thwomp Swamp, out of all of the like tracks from that like mid 2010s era, I just don't think that this one stands out that much. And that's fine. You know what I mean? We have other tracks. I don't think this track's terrible. It just has weird scaling problems, and I don't think the layout is interesting enough to warrant fixing it a third time. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. Toad Raceway, the first 3DS track. I feel the same way about this as the other tracks that I don't like, except I like this one, if that makes sense. Very simple, nothing going on at all, but specifically for Toad Raceway, I think that's fine because it's Toad Raceway. And the one thing that I think saves this for me is the cut, that only exists in Mario Kart Wii, where you like shroom into the grass and hop at a weird angle, and you like phase through the wall. Sorry. I think that shortcut's really cool. It's like interesting, and it makes the track interesting. So I think this track is fine to stay just because of that. If the shortcut didn't exist, I'd probably be saying to remove this for the same reason as like, I don't know, SNES Mario Circuit 1, to where it's just like, I don't think many people care about this. But the shortcut does make this very interesting, so yeah, keep it. Toad's Temple, keep it. Toadette's Castle, I'm just gonna be very, very honest. Even through like the development of this track, which was pretty recent, like it was last year, I just don't think this is a track for me. I never really cared about this track at all. So I'm just gonna vote indifferent about it because that's how I am. I don't think it's a bad track. I think it's fine. I think this is one of those tracks where I think we should just monitor it and see where it stands like 2-3 years from now. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's solid. Tropical Factory. I've never liked Tropical Factory. I am a Tropical Factory hater. I don't know how this... It's 194 popularity. How was this rated last time? That's what I want to know. Oh, the bot... Rating command on the bot might not... Oh, never mind, it does. Comp 102. Okay. This might be in the category... I'm going to say to remove it because I don't like this track. But I will say as an asterisk that this might be... Is this seriously the time trial method, by the way? You fucking just jump into the off-road over here? That's crazy. This track might be in the position of, like, this is a competitive track for competitive players. Because I don't think anyone else really cares about it that much, and it's not really being played. So we'll be monitoring how much this is played and, like, what to do with it, if anything. If it is going to stay as a comp track, I do want to see a visual update, because this track is really old. This is, like, one of Sneaky's first tracks. So we'll see about that, but, like, I think it's okay-ish for now. Twin Peaks. I love Twin Peaks. I think this is a classic. One of the most not infamous, what's the word? One of the most known, one of the most popular, I guess, mid-2010s tracks. It's stuck around for a while, and it's pretty good. I do think the beginning of the track does not really function that great, but I think that it's possible someday that we could, like, work on that. Like, I don't think this track is just cooked for that reason. And outside of that, I think this track is fantastic, so. Yeah, keep Twin Peaks for sure. The track. Underground Sky. I am sorry, Bowser498. I don't get it. What's his popularity? Another pop check. Oh, it's 94. Wow. I thought it was like 194. Well, people are playing it. If people are playing it, then it's fine. I have never cared about this track at all. I'm very indifferent towards it. Maybe Bowser knows something that I don't. But, I don't know. I don't care about it that much. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Like, I wouldn't pick it. I don't know. Undiscovered Off Limit. Apparently, Undiscovered Off Limit is, like, one of Japan's favorite tracks, just as a region of the world. I don't know how this happened. Maybe it's because Keiichi made it and he is Japanese. But I don't know. I have always been a staunch hater of this track. I don't think it's good. I think that the crack track theming doesn't make sense. I think that none of it really looks very good. Maybe if you gave this a proper visual update and made the gameplay a little cleaner, maybe I'd be convinced on it. But I think that might take away what some people like about it. I think some people might like it. I'm not saying to remove the crack track theming. I'm just saying to make it, because it looks like a crack track where every section is from 2012. If you made it a crack track where every section is from 2025, then maybe it's good. I don't know. But I would have to see something like that to be convinced. And for now, I just don't like this track. I don't think we will be removing it because I understand that Japan really really likes this track, and we kind of already killed their previous favorite track, which was Suzuka Circuit. So I don't know. We'll figure something out. My throat's really taking a beating on this one. God damn. Violet, I already talked about top 5 track for me. This might be a top 5 track for me. However, I might be a little biased because I helped make this. This is the one track that I have technically made. It was mostly Metabus, but it was me partially. Volcanic Skyway, legendary track series, really, by Big Auto. This is kind of just like the culmination of all of what I thought were the best parts of each one, with a little bit of tweaking to the cloud section to make it a little more balanced and a little more friendly. A lot of the older players seem to really like this. I think Metabus did an incredible job of like completing the vision that I had, if that makes sense. Yeah, I think this track is fantastic. This is probably a top 5 for me. I think my top 5 tracks in order are Garden of Dreams, Castle in the Sky, Cruel Angel Thesis, Volcanic Skyway, Vile. Although, Cruel Angel and Castle in the Sky might switch because Cruel Angel is new. I need to play it more. But dude, I love this track, man. Even like I know I made it, but like really most of this is like Big Auto stuff, and I just think it is so clean when it all works. And Metabus really brought out like the best in this track that he could. It's just so good. This track is like a quintessential one. Like if we're talking about old tracks that really stand up today, it's this, like for sure. Volcanic Valley. Sorry, I just got so distracted. Is that Yoshi with reindeer horns? Did they give him a reindeer horns in this? Dude, oh my god, he's mogging the CPUs. Holy, oh, he's taking cut too. Yeah, keep that obviously. This just got added, so I really like this track. Probably my favorite from the recent. Oh no, Cruel Angel was also the recent update. Never mind, but it's my second though. Volcanic Valley. I think out of every mega track, this is the ugliest looking by far. I can't believe that people disagree with me on that. That they think this track looks good. I don't see it. I think this track looks really bad. I would love a visual update because I think the gameplay is okay. But as it stands for me, this is like, even outside of the visuals, I also just never really cared about the gameplay that much. It's a cool concept where you're going like backwards. You go forwards on the track down this section and then backwards on the same section. And I think that that's cool. But like just the gameplay itself, I never really cared about it. I don't know. So like, we'll see. I think this will probably stay as a competitive track forever, and that's super fine. I just want a visual update for the goddamn track because I think it's really bad right now. That's all. Wetland Woods. Hear me out, guys. Hear me out, Echo. Give me a second. This is another track that is really old. This track has not been updated since CTGP 1.03 was made. Like, that was, like... That has to be over. It was like 2014, I think, right? When that happened. Maybe even 2012. I don't know. But this track has been around for so long, and it has genuinely stood up. I think we're getting close to the point where maybe like a remake of this track to look a little closer to what Wetland Woods looks like in those games would be nice. Because this is based on a Zelda area, I think, in Twilight Princess. I think the track itself is fine. It is a little bumpy, but I think the bumpiness is ultimately kind of controllable. And I think that the cut at the end is extremely iconic, and I don't want to get rid of something that iconic. So I think that this track should stay. Should it be updated a little bit? Probably should. Again, it has not been touched at all. Not even like a single item route change or anything since 2013-14. But I think that this track actually does like stand decently well. Like the more I play it, the more I think like, yeah, this I can see why this track holds up. But it does maybe need a bit of tweaking soon. But I think it's fine. I think we should keep. I don't agree with removing it. Is what I'm saying. White Garden, another solid Spike track. I think this one's like, I don't care about this one as much as many of his other ones, but I still think it's pretty solid. So I'd say keep it for now. But we'll see. I don't know. I think it is okay. It is kind of samey for a lot of it though. Like it's just white walls for a lot of it, but whatever. I think the gameplay is fine. Wicked Woods. Okay, so this track's newer. I wonder what the pop is. Wicked Woods. How's the popularity wise? 78th already is like not looking great. For like a new track. I don't care too much about this track. I never really cared that much about it. This is probably one of the best looking tracks I've ever seen that only uses default game assets. Like, there's nothing in this track that doesn't come from Mario Kart Wii, I'm pretty sure, other than the paintings. But I don't know. It's like okay-ish. I think my nose is getting like stuffy. Am I crazy? I feel stuffier than when I began this recording. I guess this recording made me sick. Whatever. Yeah, I'm indifferent towards this. That's just how I am. Wii and Fire Wonderworld. I love the theming. I think the gameplay is a solid 3 out of 5. It's alright. 3 out of 5 is better than what I consider many of these other tracks. Not like here necessarily, but just like upwards on the list. Keep it for now. 2 to 3 years, I'll revisit it. Windy World is great. Keep it. I have no issues with that. Wolf Castle Grounds, another Spy Kid track that I think is solid. I would like another visual update. I feel like all the Spy Kid tracks kind of need like small visual improvements. Because I don't think this looks great. I think this looks like it was made in the mid-2010s. Even though it was made, this version of the track was made like a year or two ago. So I think a little improvement in that sense would be nice. But I think that the layout itself is fine. I feel more strongly about the other tracks than I do about this one. But I still think this one's pretty solid. Woohoo Island. So, this 3DS track at least has, like, memorable theming, being, like, a Wii Sports Resort theme, obviously, on the Woohoo Island kind of thing. But I don't think this track plays very well in CTGP or in Mario Kart Wii in general. I just think that this game's physics don't really work for this kind of track. This track's really long and doesn't have anything going on in it. So, for that reason, I personally wouldn't keep this one. I think something like Woohoo Mountain is a lot better, where the turns actually kind of work for Mario Kart Wii. Like, there aren't really any sections of Woohoo Mountain where I'm playing it and I'm like, wow, I wish I was not playing this. But that's just how I feel about those. Finally, we're almost at the end of this. We have 3 more to go. I'll bang through these pretty quickly. Tau Cry Volcano, no issues, keep it. I think he's making an update to, like, less thwomps, I guess, and fixing a couple bugs, but, like, that's good. Yoshi Lagoon. This is a competitive track for competitive players. We're not going to change it gameplay-wise. We should change it visually. It needs an update drastically. This looks really bad, but I think we should keep it for gameplay. And Yoshi Woolly Raceway. Low-key, I don't think this track is that amazing. I think this track has another solid 3 to 4 years. I've always been like kind of indifferent towards it. This track's not bad by any means though. It's pretty solid, but I just don't. It's kind of random at times. Like, they have like Minecraft wool textures in here for some reason. Like, in a lot of places. But it's not a bad track. I think it's solid. I just don't think it does anything to stand out really above a lot of the other tracks in this. By the way, I just thought about this. Yoshi Lagoon, when we visually update this, we should give this like Yoshi's Island theming. Like, you know the Switch track Yoshi's Island? They based that on the original game. That's like an idea I've had for like years and years because I love that game. That game is awesome. Give that kind of theme to this track and it would cook hard. Anyways, sorry, that was just an aside. We're done. 2 hours 48 minutes in. I got through every track. I guess I'll spend a second to talk about the mirror mode thing. I want to get rid of it because this is just we have some extra questions at the end of the form, and we're asking one right now about potentially pulling mirror mode things. We've got a lot of feedback over the years that we have 218 tracks, and nobody wants to, like, there are very few people who play this game enough to be familiar with the 218 tracks and then also want to play them on mirror mode, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? most people, casually especially, are not playing the game enough to warrant keeping mirror mode, because it kind of just pushes them away, because now they have to learn like 536 tracks. Or sorry, 436 tracks. They just have to learn double the number of tracks for like no reason. And I think that's kind of lame. So I would get rid of this. I've never cared about mirror mode at all. I do understand that yeah, oh, it's more faithful to the original game, and longtime players like want to play. Like, I know Raptor, obviously. Raptor, I think, has more hours in Mario Kart Wii than any other human on the planet. So he likes mirror mode because it's something, you know, fresh and interesting for him. But I also have 10,000 hours in this game, and I don't enjoy mirror mode at all. Because I don't know, I like playing tracks as themselves. That's just how my brain works. And I think that the problems that it causes for casual players with the whole like barrier of entry thing is a pretty solid reason as to why we shouldn't have it anymore. But that's just me. We could also maybe split this with the tracklist thing, but that's a separate thing to figure out later. And that's it. I guess I just figure out the rest of these questions. Oh, I guess I only used that notepad to write down that we should revert 3DS BC. That wasn't very helpful. I guess I'll just keep this in the video. The feature. I'm not answering these because all of my wishes are already known by the admin team because I'm on it. Oh, what I could say, I don't know. It's funny if I answer, I don't know what it means. Yeah, that's it. That's it for me, I guess. Oh my god, that video sucked to make. That took 3 hours, including pauses. My throat hurts, so I'm going to go take a break now. The curse be upon the families of everyone who wanted me to do this. But I think I enjoyed it. If anyone wants to like discuss these tracks with me and like why they think I'm wrong, or why like what we could do about any given track to make it a little better, then I'm always down to talk about these kind of things. Because again, these are just all my opinions. I think almost all the tracks in CTGP are pretty good. We're just reaching a point where I think our standards are higher, and I would like to see every track reach its potential, which is why I'm so hard on a lot of tracks. That's just kind of how I am. I don't know. But that's all for me. I guess I'm signing off now. I'm gonna go rest a little bit. Goodbye.